All right. Hey, have to pass me that funnel.
Top of the night to y'all, man.
That bottle real quick. All right, bitch. Your life's
Just
about
want
to
to
be
chop it
different
and pop it
forever.
with y'all for a
Tilt
minute.
your head over. All right, here we go. Now you have been officially
Baptized in that game.
Now come and take a sip of this gang. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up. Expensive energy coming up, coming up. That change your life, money, you dig? Now come and take a sip of this gang. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up. Expensive energy coming up, coming up.
Y'all already know how we get down over here, man. Do a pimp a favor. Wipe your feet off at the door when you come in. Go chop it and pop it with y'all for a minute. I'm on the highway right now, y'all.
Now come and take a sip of this gang. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up.
Y'all see a pimp on the highway right now, so
Coming up, that change your life, money, you dig? Now come and take a sip of this gang.
I got a long drive ahead of myself, so I figured I'd chop it and pop it with y'all for a minute while I'm on this ride. Action Pack 901, what's up with it? Just living, top of it. Back official. Doing what it do around here, man. You already know. Rated R, top of it. Grandmaster, I see you. Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it up. DeAndre Williams, I see you, man. What it do? Hustle Mania, what's up with it, man? Love. Indeed. Mr. Inglewood 78, I see you. What's up with it? Y'all make sure y'all wipe your feet off at the door when you come into a pimp's domain, man. Popping at another bitch. Baby shit. About to unleash my weapon. Midwest Fashion Geek, I see you. What's up with it? Cash, check, and credit, I see you. Blessings. Shaniqua Town Business. Have you seen the Oakland movie called The Stroll? No, I haven't. I'm not familiar with it. Is it a new movie? Did it just come out? Goldie, what's up with it, man? Top of it. Now, y'all already know, man. You know where you at. And you know how we get down where you at, man. We put this love shit in our bodies, man. Go ahead and put some love in my life, man. If y'all haven't already, man, wipe your feet off at the door when you come in. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button for a pimp one time, please, and thank you. This road bumpy as hell, man. Y'all can't laugh at a pimp if I spill some of this motherfucking water going over a bump. Yeah, we're gonna chop it and pop it again like we always do around this motherfucker. If you haven't put no love in your body, go ahead and put some love in your body, man. Have a sip for a pimp one time. You dig? I appreciate y'all for tapping in, checking in with a pimp. Like I said, man, I'm on this long road. I got a long drive ahead of me, man, so I figured I'd take some time to chop it and pop it with y'all. You know, I wanted to do something earlier today, but I was busy all day. You know, so I didn't get the opportunity to do it earlier. But we doing it now, man. So, like I said, I'm on this highway, you know, so if I go through a spot where the signal might be kind of funny, excuse my pimping. But we gonna do what it do regardless. Kawhi Jelly, good looking with the $2 holla. What does the 2 peace signs mean? You know, those of us in the game, that's how we greet each other. We just greet each other with the peace sign, you know. We chuck deuces, that's what we call it. We call it chucking deuces. Excuse my pimping. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Damn. And my signal is good right now. You see how they try to come against this game, man? The spirit of sucketry trying to come against this game. But yeah, Kawhi, you know, we that's how we greet each other. We call it chucking deuces, man. We do this when, you know, when we see each other in the game, we chuck deuces, man. But yeah, you know, getting to the topic at hand, I was chopping it with my partners earlier, right? Chopping it with some pimping. And my partner was telling me about a bitch that was on his line. You know, she liked his pimping and everything. But she was telling him, you know, that she can't see herself giving all of her money to a man. You know, if somebody is her boyfriend, you know, that she'll give him probably half the money or some shit like that, but she can't see herself breaking herself to a man, right? And it'd be funny to me because this is just me. Now pay attention, right? This is just my experience. Every time I see a bitch say she don't want to break herself to a man, it's always a bitch that's in a fucked up position that don't have anything going on and doesn't have any game. Don't even know what she doing. She just riding off the fact that she might be a halfway decent looking bitch, you know. And for some reason they be having this false confidence about themselves. You know, that's the true definition of conceit. You know, when people call somebody conceited, when they use the word conceit towards somebody, they really think that it's just somebody that's just stuck up. You know, but basically what conceit is placing a false value on yourself. You know, placing a value on yourself that this higher than what you actually are. That's what conceit is. You know, and a lot of these bitches are the true definition of conceited. They think so highly of themselves and they have no reason to think that highly of themselves. It's okay to be confident, but there's a difference between confident and being ridiculous. And a lot of these females in the game, they just be ridiculous, right? So like I said, I was chopping it with the pimping earlier, man, and we got to this discussion, so it made me want to chop it up with y'all about that, you know, because it's a lot of young ladies in the game that they like the pimping. They like the game. They like the benefits of the game. But they don't want to play the game according to how you should play it. They want to make their own rules up. And what you don't understand is no matter what lifestyle you in, no matter what line of work you in, or whatever the case may be, there's systems set in place. And in order to abide and thrive in the system, you got to abide by the rules of the system, by the guidelines of the system, right? And if you don't, you're not going to succeed in that system. Even McDonald's has a system. And if you want to be an employee at McDonald's, you have to abide by that system, right? Same thing with Walmart or, you know, whatever line of work that you want to get in. Whether it's a career or a regular job, a temporary job, whatever you do, there's guidelines. There's a system set in place, right? And it's no different with this game. Even with the dope game. If you hustling in the streets, if you selling dope or whatever the case may be, there is a system set in place. And if you want to be successful within that world, you got to abide by the system. And the thing about the game is, right, unlike any of those other things that I mentioned, right? With the exception of the dope game, but unlike McDonald's or Walmart or any corporation that you might work for, when it comes to this game, any bitch could just decide to sell pussy. But what they don't understand is, if you don't take this game as seriously as somebody working a minimum wage job at Waffle House or some shit like that, if you don't take this game as seriously as that individual takes their job, then you're not gonna get what you're supposed to get out of this game. You know, and a lot of girls get into the game not knowing nothing about the game, don't want to learn anything about the game, but want to do it their way. And that most backwards shit ever. So you got so many bitches in the game, right? And I can understand, you know, you don't really understand the value of the pimping. So you don't understand why you should give but deaf ear to the pimping is just ridiculous, you know. And even beyond just fucking with some pimping, just pertaining to what you do, like basic fundamental shit. You know, you don't necessarily, that's just being all the way real, you don't necessarily need no pimping in your life to know certain fundamentals about the game. You know, if you want some exclusive game about this game, some exclusive knowledge, some specialized knowledge, as well as guidance and everything else that comes with the pimping, then yeah, you're gonna have to fuck with some pimping. But basic fundamentals to the game, a lot of bitches don't even want to learn that shit. They just get in the game and think that because they got a pussy, they gonna win. And it's crazy. So we're gonna talk about what's wise for a hoe to do, right? And what's not wise for a hoe to do. It's funny because, like, I've had situations too where a bitch told me she can't see herself breaking herself to a pimp, right? And then I'll ask the bitch, like, okay, well, what you got going on? The way that you're doing things right now, where has it gotten you? And I can remember one time recently, the most recent time I remember a bitch having that outlook. This bitch was staying with like an auntie or some family member, right? And she was staying in a little ass room with her baby at this relative's house. You know, didn't have a car, so she got an Uber everywhere. And so obviously her way of doing things hasn't gotten her very far, right? And then it's like, okay, well, what kind of money do you have stacked up? You know, because a lot of bitches, when they see the pimping, they look at the pimping like a light bill. They look at the pimping like rent. They look at the pimping like insurance or a car note. You know, a lot of bitches look at the pimping as like just another bill, right? So if you don't have a pimp to pay, let's go based on that supposed logic, which it really ain't no logic to that, but let's say that's some logic, right? If a bitch don't have a pimp to pay, then that's one less bill that she got, right? She managing her money herself and so on and so forth. And then it's like, how much money you got, bitch? How much money do you have stacked up? 9 times out of 10, these bitches don't have no money. Like I said, the most recent time I could think of, bitch was staying in a little room at her relative's house with her baby, and the bitch didn't have no money. Bitch barely can afford an Uber ride. You know? And it's like, but she's so stuck on the mindset of not breaking herself to a pimp. But in reality, bitch, you're a liability. Because if a pimp accepts you, first of all, a pimp can't even accept you. You ain't got no damn choosing fee. You know, because a real pimp don't want a choosing fee. You can't even afford a pimp. But you're talking about how you not gonna break yourself to a pimp? You can't even get together a choosing fee to be able to choose a pimp. You know what I mean? And then even if you did have a choosing fee, you still a liability. Because you ain't got nothing going on. The pimp is gonna have to build you up. You know, so it's not like you coming to the table with a whole bunch to offer, but you just don't want to give it to a pimp. 9 times out of 10, these bitches don't be having nothing to offer. They not bringing nothing to the table but the fact that they have a pussy. And they think that, you know, that's everything. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? If you ask a bitch what makes her valuable, a lot of these bitches can't even tell you nothing. They only gonna tell you the fact that they got a pussy or whatever. You know what I mean? And this bitch that I'm talking about, when I start breaking shit down to her like that, it fucked her up for one, but then two, she was like, damn, you know what I mean? I done talked to different pimps, but ain't nobody ever broke it down to me like that. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, it didn't go nowhere, but it opened the bitch's mind up that much more, but she still was like deeply entrenched in that mentality. But, you know, for a bitch to be turning shit down and talking about what she won't do and all this old shit, like, at least be a valuable bitch. Like I said, a lot of these bitches can't even tell you what makes them valuable. A lot of bitches can't even tell you why. They can't tell a pimp why he should even fuck with her or accept her, other than the fact that, you know what I mean, of course every bitch think they a good bitch. She might say some shit like that. Well, I'm a good bitch, you know, I do this and I do that. But like, what makes you valuable though? There's a lot of bitches that do this and do that, but what makes you valuable? What have you invested into yourself to build yourself up to make you exceptional? You know, why you and not this bitch? Why you and not that bitch? What distinguishes you from all these average bitches that say the same shit? And see, a lot of bitches don't understand from a pimp's perspective, right? But you know, the pimping, we deal with a lot of bitches, right? Especially when you've been in the game as long as I have. I've been in the game for a long time, and I done dealt with a whole lot of bitches, right? So when you done dealt with just about every kind of bitch in the game that you could damn near possibly deal with, you start to notice tendencies. And when you see certain tendencies, you can pretty much accurately predict what kind of bitch this is gonna be, right? Based on what kind of tendencies she got out the gate. And bitches who have a tendency to say that they don't want to pay a pimp, break themselves to a pimp, the bitches who have a tendency of saying that have a tendency of being broke and not having shit and struggling. You know? Because a big part of the reason why is because they don't have an abundance mindset. When you don't have an abundance mindset, when you don't have the mindset of, you know, there's more than enough for everybody, you know, when you don't have the mindset of, let me bring this to the table and you bring that to the table and let's make something bigger happen together that either one of us could have on our own individually. When you don't have a mind, when you got a selfish mindset, it don't get you nowhere. You know, and so that's why I get on here and I kick it and I pop it and say things about this game, you know, especially pertaining to hoes and how they should look at the game and how they shouldn't look at the game, because a lot of bitches just don't know. And see, a lot of bitches don't know because a lot of motherfuckers that claim to be some pimping, they don't display any greatness to a bitch. You know, they don't display any reasons for a bitch to choose they pimping. You know, so a big part of the reason why these bitches not just see things the way that they do, but stay stuck in that mindset is because nobody has presented them with some real pimping. Pimping is greatness. Greatness and pimping are synonymous with one another. So, you know what I mean? Like, even when I was young in the game, I had greatness in me. So, I wasn't as seasoned as I am now when I was fresh in the game. So, I didn't have nearly as much knowledge and game and wisdom as I do now. But I still had greatness in me. Because I had pimping in me. And I was consumed by the spirit of pimping. So, when I present myself to a bitch, she gonna see a whole bunch of reasons to choose. She gonna see a whole bunch of reasons. She gonna see a whole bunch of ways that I can be beneficial to her. Aside from being fly and being able to talk good and all that, you know what I mean? A bitch gonna understand that that I'm valuable. And then especially now, you know, when a bitch see me, if she knows how to recognize value, she gonna see a whole bunch of that in me. You know, from the way that I talk in general, and then the way that I talk about the game, and just the way that I present myself. My presentation alone is gonna show you that I'm a highly self-disciplined individual. So it's a lot of shit that I ain't gonna do. You know what I mean? Which is something that should really behoove a bitch to fuck with. A bitch should be really inclined to fuck with a highly self-disciplined pimp. You know? Because a bitch see me and she get to understand what's in front of her. She know that I'm not gonna trick the trap off. She know that I'm not gonna smoke the trap off. She know I'm not gonna put the trap up my nose or in my veins. She know I'm not gonna lose the trap on the gambling table. Like, a bitch just know all of that when she gets to understand what's in front of her. Some real pimping. You know, the spirit of tricking ain't got nothing to do with me. You know? So it's a whole lot for you to benefit from in fucking with me. Hustle Mania, as always, good looking with the $2 holla, distinguished individual. Indeed, that's what a pimp is. A pimp is a distinguished individual. And when you move in the spirit of pimping, you're going to be able to naturally present that to any bitch that you encounter. And she's going to be able to recognize something. Even if she can't recognize that it's some pimping, she going to recognize that you're a distinguished individual. She going to be able to recognize that you're not like everybody else. Especially when you open your mouth and get to popping it. You know what I mean? And when you really consumed by the spirit of pimping, you just going to look different. Your whole energy going to be different. So, you know, it needs to be more of that going on in order for bitches to understand why they need to break themselves to some pimping. You know? And see, a lot of bitches, right, they can't understand why they should break themselves to some pimping because all they thinking about is what they stand to lose, right? And you know, if you don't really understand how to choose, if you don't understand what to look for in a pimp, then you are taking a gamble. Because you got some bitches like that. You got some bitches that want to fuck with some pimping, but they don't know what to look for in a pimp. They just like pimping and they understand that, you know, a pimp is the best kind of man for them to fuck with because at least the pimp is going to be able to understand and relate to you. Pimp is going to have an understanding about what you're going through in this game, and a pimp ain't going to judge you like a boyfriend would, because a boyfriend fucking with a hoe or a stripper or whatever, any type of bitch in the game, he get mad at the bitch, that's the first thing he going to do is throw that shit in her face. You know what I mean? You ain't got them type of worries fucking with a pimp. So, some bitches understand at least that, but they still might not understand what to look for in a pimp and how to choose a pimp or what to choose in a pimp. So, like I say, man, it's on the pimping to demonstrate greatness in front of a hoe. And like I said, a lot of these bitches They only think about what they stand to lose in choosing a pimp. And the main thing that they're thinking about losing is money. But a pimp's vision is so much bigger than just money. And what people don't understand is when you get other things in order, the money just comes with the territory. When you instill value in yourself, the money just comes with the territory. People who just chase money, and they so focused on chasing money and they don't even know how to go about getting money, they just focused on chasing money, they almost never get it. It's just like chasing clout. People who chase clout, they almost never get it. And they might get a little bit of it at a time, but it don't last. Just like people who chase money and don't understand how to get money, they might get a little bit here and there, but it don't really last. They don't build, they don't grow. Just like a clout chaser, right? But just like a clout chaser, people who chase just money, they don't understand that if they chase greatness, the money is going to come along with it. Chase greatness. That's what you need to be chasing. And when you're chasing greatness, you're building equity in yourself. You building value within yourself when you're chasing greatness. And when you're chasing greatness, money is going to come with it. Especially in this game, as a hoe, a bitch should be wanting to chase greatness. And see, the beauty of fucking with some pimping, one thing that a pimp is definitely going to get a bitch to understand is that there's so much more out there for you than what you understand. You don't even know what's available to you in the game. You don't even know what to look for. Most of these bitches don't even know what to look for in the game as a hoe. They don't know what's available to them. They don't know what to shoot for. They don't know what to strive for. You know, their vision be so limited. And when you coming into the game and you don't develop a deeper understanding of the game by fucking with some pimping, you only gonna go off of whatever your point of reference is. And when you a fresh bitch in the game and you ain't fucking with no pimping, your point of reference is gonna be other bitches. And if them other bitches ain't fucking with no pimping and it's just a bunch of ignorant, limited-minded bitches, if that's a bitch's point of reference coming into the game, then how's she gonna grow? How's she gonna be able to see anything greater? And that's a story with a lot of bitches. You know, a lot of bitches come into the game and they hear the bitches around them say, oh, I would never pay no pimp. I would never give a man all of my money. If I like him, I might give him a little something, but I ain't gonna never break myself to no man. You know, bitches come into the game, this is their point of reference, right? So, bitches like that, they might get lucky here and there. You know, like we say all the time, you know, even a garbage can gonna get a steak every so often. But there's no calculation to it. There's no science to it. When you put science to what you're doing, when you got a science, when you got a formula to what you're doing, you're gonna heighten your success rate. Not only are you gonna heighten your success rate, but you're gonna heighten the level of your success. That's when you get some accuracy, when you put some technique and some formula to what you're doing. And that's gonna come from fucking with some pimping. Because like I said, bitches, they don't even be knowing what's available to them. And when I say that, I'm talking about what's in a trick's pocket, what's in a trick's wallet, what's in a trick's bank account. Bitches don't even understand what tricks have available to give them. You know, And like I say all the time, when you stand for less, you fall for more. So when you don't stand for game, you fall for a trick dictating the conversation, dictating the encounter, and setting the terms. With most of these bitches, they don't even know how to talk to a trick, so the trick gonna set the terms. He gonna say what he want, and the bitch is gonna be a subordinate to him. You know, so she ain't gonna even she don't understand her value. She don't understand what this trick has available to give her. She don't understand what she's supposed to get. And it's crazy, right? Like I say, point of reference. Bitches have that type of understanding. They'll listen to other bitches say shit like, oh, these tricks ain't really got no money. You know what I mean? The city that we in, you know, the economy is bad. So, you know, these tricks, they ain't really got money like that. Or you know, with this pandemic going on, the coronavirus shutting everything down, you know, a lot of tricks don't have money, this, that, and third. Hey, see, I'm just blessed, right? See, this pimping was just meant for me, man. I was just meant, like, it was just, you know, it was just designed that way, man. It's just so many things that I experienced in my life leading up to me being in the game that just made me perfectly fit for the pimping, right? One of them things is growing up in the hood and having an understanding about the dope game, right? About street economics, right? And when I was growing up, I had uncles and older cousins that sold dope. And then as I got older, I had homeboys that sold dope, right? And one thing I remember watching Dope Boys is that you can't negotiate with a real dope boy. A real dope boy that got some real hustle about himself, you can't negotiate with him. A fiend might come to him and be like, oh, I only got this much. Shit, I don't know what to tell you. Better go get the rest of it. Shit, I ain't budging. You already know how I get down. You know what I mean? You come to me all the time. When have I ever got down like that? You better go get it. You better go make it happen. And guess what? That dope fiend, you know, the dope boy might even tell him like, shit, you better go steal something. You better go rob some. You better go do something. Shit. If you want this shit, you know I got the best shit. You know I ain't gonna give you no stepped on shit. You better go make something happen. That dope fiend gonna go make something happen. That dope fiend gonna go knock somebody over the head, climb through a window, you know what I mean, pick a pocket. That dope fiend gonna go do whatever they got to do. Sell babies diapers, you know what I mean? That dope fiend gonna go do whatever the fuck they gotta do to get that dope man his money. Because they need their fix. They need that drug. In their mind, they need it. You know, so what bitches don't understand is that a woman's pleasure is just as strong of an addiction as any drug. Bitches don't understand that. So because bitches don't understand that, see, the dope boy understand that. Dope boy understand that this dope fiend's addiction to their product is so strong that if they stand firm on whatever it is they want for that product, the dope fiend gonna go get it. They gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I had a loved one, right? Let's just go to show you. When a motherfucker understand the value of their product, you ain't even gotta have a whole bunch of game. But if you understand at least the value of your product, then you gonna get what you want, right? I remember, like I said, I had a loved one, right? And this was back when when the Oxycontin, the blue 80s, when them blue 80s was out, man, I had a loved one that was killing the game, right? Now, a lot of other places, when it came to the blue 80s, the average price, from what I remember, was probably like, from what I was being told, The average price I want to say was like $80 if I remember correctly for a pill, right? For one blue 80 milligram Oxycontin back then was like $80 or $85 or some shit like that, right? But whatever it was, whatever the normal going rate was, right, Sacred G, you remember that shit. They was like $80, right? I had a loved one. They was in a certain town, right? And prior to them getting into the game in that town, the average rate was like $80, right? But this loved one who I'm talking about, they had the opportunity to sew the town up, right? So within them maximizing the opportunity of sewing the town up, once they realized they had the town sewed up, motherfucker went up. Motherfucker went to 95 a pill. Soon as he get them, they gone. Motherfucker might have 1,000 pills. They gonna be gone within that day. This motherfucker did so much as to going up to like 125 a pill. Guess what? He got the town sewed up. Them dope fiends was getting that 125 to get one of them pills. They was doing whatever the fuck they had to do. My loved one, it wasn't none of his concern. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck shit. You better go do what you gotta do. They making it happen, and they still was moving like that. Now, like I'm saying, the clientele prior to him sewing the town up, they was used to paying $80 for one pill. Once he sold the town up and had the iron fist on that motherfucker, he upped his rates to 125, and motherfuckers was still getting it. You know what I mean? He upped the rate by roughly 50%. He put a 50% tax on that motherfucker, and they still was giving it to him. So the moral of the story is, a motherfucker gonna do what they want. Man, I'm giving y'all way too much game, man. But it's all good, because I know only those who know what to do with it is gonna be able to utilize it, and it's all good though. You know what I mean? Because one thing I really want to do is restore value in the game. Restore appreciation for game in the game. Because it's not enough appreciation for game in the game. And that's what I love to do, man. You know, if I can restore appreciation in the game in somebody, then, you know, they gonna want to choose a pimp. A hoe gonna want to choose a pimp for some real game. You know? And a real pimp, he gonna be inspired to instill game in his whatever young ladies he might be fucking with, man. So, but yeah, bottom line, like I'm saying, I said all of that to say, motherfucker gonna do what they want. If they want it bad enough, they gonna do what they gotta do to get it. So, you know, all of this coronavirus shit going on, or, you know, other, you know, economically tight situations, hey man, don't none of that shit matter. Because a trick, they need they fix just as bad as a dope fiend need theirs. That's what bitches don't understand though. So like I said, unlike a dope boy, a bitch don't understand the value of her product. So unlike a dope boy, the bitch is gonna be negotiable. You know what I mean? Now sometimes dope boys, you know, to up their clientele base, they might give a little wiggle room, you know what I mean, and lower their prices, just like with anything else, you know what I mean? A gas station, they might lower their gas price a few cents so that everybody in the area will come fuck with them, you know what I mean? But it's only a little bit of wiggle room with any of that other type of shit. But when it comes to females, when it comes to young ladies in the game, they have way too much wiggle room. it should never be that much wiggle room, you know, for a trick. And one thing for sure, see, with the dope man don't let the dope fiend set the price. You know, Walmart don't let the customer set the price. Lawyers don't let the client set the price. You know, there's no other business that you can think of where the customer sets the price. The only business where the customer sets the price is with these bitches, with these supposed hoes or whatever you want to call them. This is the only business where the customer can set the price. You know? But it's never supposed to be a situation where the demand sets the price. No, the supply is supposed to set the price. Because without no supply, no demand gets met. So if you're supplying a demand, you set the price. But again, when you don't understand the value of your supply, when you don't understand the value of your product, you're going to be extremely negotiable. Ridiculously negotiable. When you don't understand the value of your product, you ain't going to even ask for what you should ask for. You're going to be scared to ask for what you should ask for. But you don't think about the fact that what you asking for, some of these tricks spend that to fill their gas tank up. What you asking for, some of these tricks spend that taking their family out to dinner. What you asking for, what you scared to ask for, you know what I mean? A trick spent that on a pair of jeans or an outfit. What you scared to ask for, a trick spent that on some shoes. And all them things that I just named that a trick that spent that on, hey man, ain't none of them things negotiable like the bitch. Trick can't go in the Nike store. Trick can't go into Nike Town and it's a pair of Nikes that's $200, but the trick talked the motherfuckers down and they just let them have them Nikes for $50. Nah, if they $200, the price tag say $200, that's that motherfucker gonna spend. So how come the bitch price tag is so negotiable? If a motherfucker go to a restaurant and sit down, and after sitting down, the bill comes to $100. Hey man, the trick ain't gonna be able to go to the waiter or the restaurant manager and be like, look man, you know what I mean? I know I just ate this meal and everything. I know you want $100 for it, but let me give you $50, man. They gonna look at that motherfucker and laugh. And if they can't come up with the money, they gonna call the police on his ass. You know what I mean? Zaire Phoenix, yeah, indeed. Nike don't set they don't demand the price, they set it. Exactly. You know what I mean? And people understand that price that's set, and they know that it's not negotiable because of the culture. You know what I mean? And that's the culture with just about every industry, every business. The culture is understood that, you know, the prices that's set, they're not negotiable. People don't even fix their mind to think about negotiating a set price with these different products and services. You know, but when it comes to these bitches though, they got the least belief in themselves. You know, so all of that within itself, that alone is a reason why a hoe need to break herself to a pimp. Because like I said, a lot of these bitches, they can only think about what they stand to lose. But if they can open their mind and understand what they stand to gain in fucking with a pimp, then they understand that whatever they breaking themselves for, that's a small price in comparison to what they stand to gain. You know, because I tell motherfuckers all the time, a hoe can't never, if she fuck with a real pimp and actually get pimped on, it's a hoe in exchange for that money, and it's more than money, it's dedication and loyalty and trust and all that, because I don't give a fuck how much money a bitch might be coming with out the gate. If she don't have any dedication, if she can't stay down with me for no extended period of time, then she don't really deserve the game that I got to give. But if she stay down and be consistent with breaking herself and giving her all, you know what I mean? I'm talking about really going hard, because some bitches will try to stay with a pimp for as long as they can, but won't go hard and won't put forth the effort to really get some real money. You know, so I ain't talking about that. It's more than just a willingness to break yourself. But when you give your all to a pimp, it's only gonna last for as long as you with that pimp. But the game that you get in exchange, giving your all to a pimp, that stay with you forever. The pimp that give you the game can't even take it from you if he wanted to. All the game that I done gave different hoes, and you know, I just love giving game. So I had to become better at that. But when I was younger in the game, I just love giving hoes. I just love lacing hoes. That's something that I have a strong passion for. It's lacing hoes with game. You know what I mean? So it's been times where I've prematurely given bitches a certain level of game that they didn't stay down long enough to earn, right? Hey, them bitches got away with murder. Because the money that they gave and, you know, the cooperation, you know, them surrendering themselves or whatever for the whatever short premature time period that they was around, they didn't earn that game. A lot of bitches that I gave game to, you know, early on. So, hey, they got away with murder because they still got that game right now. I can't take that game away from them bitches. You know, it's like putting a down payment on some furniture at Rent-A-Center, you know what I mean, under a fake profile, and then you just disappear and relocate with that furniture, and you know Rent-A-Center can't track you down and get that money because you got it under a fake profile. You know, you got that furniture, and you didn't give them nearly the value of what that was worth. So they can't take from you even if they wanted to, because they don't know where to get it from. You know what I mean? But it's that much more so with the game. You know what I mean? But even if a hoe stay down and do actually earn the game from the pimping, you know, I've had hoes like that too. You know, and I don't be mad when they part ways with a pimp, because, you know, that bitch earned it. She stayed down and she earned the game that I gave her. You know, not only did she break herself on a daily basis, but that bitch didn't give a pimp no problems. Whatever I told that bitch to do, she did it. And I didn't take advantage of the bitch within her willingness to do whatever I told her to do. So whatever I told her to do made sense, but she didn't give me no problems, no friction. You know what I mean? We was in harmony with one another. You know? She was a good bitch. And she stayed down for an extended period of time, you know? And my pimping is better off now than it was before she came. It's better off now with her leaving than it was before she came. So the bitch earned that game, and I ain't mad at her. But even if I fall off and lose everything that bitch hold up for, that bitch still got the game that I gave her. So again, she's always gonna come out better in the long run, because that game that I gave the bitch, she's always gonna be able to utilize that in some capacity, even if she squares up and start working a regular 9 to 5 or open a business or whatever it is that she do. You know, the game that I gave her has universal application, so she's gonna be able to utilize that game, whether she continue hoeing, she choose up with another pimp, whether she square up, whatever she do, that game is gonna be applicable in her life, one way or another. So the hoe always come out better fucking with a pimp. You know? It's 188 of y'all up in here. 120 of y'all wiped your feet off at the door. If you haven't wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now, and thank you. What I mean by that is hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button for a pimp while I take this small love break. Dig? All these twists and turns, I'm waiting for a straightaway so I could put some love. Okay, here go one. I got some time. I got some time to put some love in my body. You dig? I love this shit. But yeah, you know, that's the reason why a hoe need to break herself to a man. You know, and if a hoe is interested in some pimping, it's things to look for, right? One thing a pimp ain't gonna let a bitch do is interview him. Right? Pimpin' is gonna interview the bitch, right? This is shit that a bitch should look for when she thinking about choosing some pimpin', right? First and foremost, there is no such thing as a hoe interviewing a pimp. You know, the pimpin' is hiring. The bitch is acquiring. The bitch ain't doing the hiring. The pimpin' is doing the hiring. And the hoe is doing the acquiring. She acquiring some pimping and he hiring some hoeing, right? So, because the pimp is the one hiring, the pimp is the one doing the interview. You know, if you go try to get a job at Macy's, you don't go into Macy's interviewing the manager. You know, you understand how Macy's is beneficial to you. So when you go to Macy's, you know, Macy's is interviewing you to try to figure out how you gonna be beneficial to them. And you got the burden of proof. As a potential employee, you got the burden of proof to prove to Macy's why they should hire you. Why it makes sense for Macy's to hire you, right? So it's the same thing with the pimping. You know, now a hoe, beautiful thing about today's times is most pimps is on social media, right? So a hoe can pay attention to a pimp and learn a whole lot about a pimp on social media, right? Now, that's a lot of things that you ain't gonna be able to figure out on social media, but you know, a well-known, established pimp You know, he gonna have a reputation, he gonna have a resume, all that. You know, so basically, my point is, a hoe has a lot to work with in doing her research on a pimp, right? In today's times, there's a lot to work with in doing research on a pimp. So a hoe need to understand that she gonna have the burden of proof in choosing a pimp. But before she even goes to choose a pimp, she should understand that this is who she want to fuck with and why. And she should understand why it makes perfect sense for her to fuck with him, right? So that's one thing that a bitch need to understand, you know. And if you try to interview a pimp and he allows you to interview him, that's not somebody that you want to choose. Real pimp ain't gonna let no bitch interview him. Never. You know, the pimping ain't got the burden of proof. Now, you know, even if a bitch don't understand a whole lot about the pimping, but she just like him and she want to choose him based on her liking him, she might not know a whole lot about his pimping, but she get a good feeling. You know what I mean? Everything that she got a good feeling about and whatever doubts that she got in her mind, within that pimp interviewing her, she's going to be able to confirm whatever questions she got in her mind through him interviewing her. If she know what to pay attention to and what to read, you know, she going to be able to understand that this is a real man that she fucking with. Not just a motherfucker that's saying he's some pimping, but this is a real man. He know how to take charge, but he's smooth. He not aggressive within his taking charge. He just know how to, his command language is on point. He know how to command shit and make shit happen. Right? So that's one thing to pay attention to when you thinking about choosing some pimping, right? Another thing a hoe should keep in mind when she thinking about choosing some pimping is she shouldn't even get on a pimp's line unless she got some money. It'd be so ridiculous, right? This the type of shit that bitches in the game be doing right now. A lot of bitches, damn near all the bitches in the game got this shit bad. And a lot of niggas that call themselves some pimping be going for it, right? Bitch ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You know what I mean? And she might be, you know, interested in the pimp and let him know that she want to choose. But she ain't got no money. She ain't coming to the table with nothing. But she still want the pimping to prove to her why she should choose. Well, you know, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about choosing you, but, you know, da-da-da-da. And then she got all these questions. She start trying to interview the pimping. But, bitch, you're not coming to the table with nothing. You're not even prepared. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be a fee to choose up with me. You don't even have a fee together. What do I look like proving to you why you should come to me when you don't even have what's needed to come to me? You don't even have a fee. But bitches will get on a pimp's line like that. You know what I mean? A pimp who might have it going on. It might be established. And, you know, he's straight. His situation is cool. His family is cool. His household is cool, right? This bitch ain't got nothing but a desire to fuck with him. That's it. But she still want him to prove to her why she should fuck with him. That's crazy. And you got motherfuckers that'll like attempt to prove themselves to a bitch that's unproven herself. And won't even try to get the bitch to convince him why he should accept her. You know, so the ideal way for a hoe to choose is, like I said, she should understand that the pimping is interviewing her. She's not interviewing the pimping. And then, on top of that, she should have a fee ready. And like I said, within the interview, the pimping is going to confirm everything to you. Any doubt that you got in your mind, a real pimp is going to be able to dispel any of those doubts. And you should have your money ready. A bitch should never, ever, ever get on a pimp's line and she ain't got no money. But bitches got that shit bad. And it'd be crazy to me, again, how a bitch will say she don't want to break herself to a pimp, but she don't even have nothing to offer a pimp. Like, bitch, you ain't even got nothing to offer a pimp. And then your whole outlook on the game is fucked up. I'm going to have to deprogram and reprogram you to get you to, like, just think about that. You know, like I said, tendencies. A pimp notices certain tendencies depending on how a bitch talk, her language, and her outlook, and all of that, in her situation. You know, that's just like I learned some years back, right? Years and years back. That 9 times out of 10, cause see a pimp, right? And some pimps can turn them type of situations into something, right? And it's not always the case. You may have rare occasions where a bitch like this is worth fucking with, right? But 9 times out of 10, you know, when pimps be moving around campaigning and you see a bitch sitting outside the hotel with all of her bags, it's checkout time and she had to get out the room and she ain't got nowhere to go. 9 times out of 10, when you see a bitch like that, or if you see a bitch at the Greyhound station stuck trying to get a ticket, she ain't got no money, she don't even know where she going. 9 times out of 10, those situations are almost always not worth it. You know? And sometimes a pimp will just take a bitch like that because she be ready to go. She desperate. She ain't got no money and she ain't got nowhere to go. So of course she gonna fuck with a pimp if he willing to take her with nothing. But like I say, tendencies, right? And bitches who are in those types of situations, sitting outside with all of her bags, bitches in that situation have a tendency to not be worth a pimp's time and effort. Almost every time, without failure. You know what I mean? And see, you know, sometimes a pimp's problem is thinking that he could work miracles on every bitch. You know, a pimp be thinking that he could just make something out of nothing with every bitch, right? But nah, pimp, you might be able to work miracles with certain bitches, depending on, you know, what the bitch has in her to begin with, but you can't work miracles with every bitch. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, a bitch sitting outside with all of her shit is not worth fucking with. And then you got to keep in mind, 9 times out of 10, there are specific reasons why that bitch is outside with all of her shit. You know? The bitch might be outside with all of her shit because whenever she goes out to hoe, all she does is make just enough money to pay for her room, get something to eat, get an eighth of weed, and, you know, that's it. And one day she might just fall short, you know? And a lot of times, it be the same story with them bitches. What's your phone number? Oh, well, my phone is off right now. Bitch, why is your phone off? You know, like I said, tendencies, right? Bitches who be in them situations with all of that shit sitting outside, they have a tendency to lack of ambition. They have a tendency to be lazy. And that's why they, like I said, it be specific reasons 9 times out of 10 why a bitch is sitting outside with all of her luggage. The only time it might be worth it to give a bitch a chance like that is maybe if she got robbed. You know, because that's a situation beyond her control. If a bitch got robbed for her money, or she might have got out of pocket and a pimp broke on her or whatever the case may be, but her money got relieved, she got relieved of her money, right? Unwillingly. It was beyond her control. Somebody took her money. And that's why she's sitting outside with all of her shit. A bitch like that might be worth fucking with, maybe. But any other reason beyond that, or an emergency situation came up. You know, my mom went to jail and I had to help bail her out. You know, I couldn't let my mom sit in jail because she got responsibilities to take care of out of here. So I helped bail my mom out of jail. So that's why I ain't got no money. That's why I'm sitting out here. But you know, as soon as I get somebody to watch my stuff, you know, I'm gonna go get some money. You know, if you would let me put my suitcase in your car for an hour or two, you know, I'll go get some money for you. You know, let me prove to you I'm worth fucking with. You know what I mean? I'm a good bitch. A bitch like that, pimp might give her a chance. You know what I mean? But if it ain't something like that, why a bitch is sitting outside with all of her luggage, 9 times out of 10, she's not worth fucking with. 9 times out of 10, like I said, she got a lack of ambition and she lazy. She's not gonna go hard. You know? Like I say all the time, the smallest gestures. Hold on. Yeah, sometimes my signal, I see every once in a while, my signal trips. Like I told y'all, I'm on the road. I'm on a road trip right now, so if the signal fucks up temporarily, excuse my pimping, but for the most part, I should have a good signal. But yeah, man. So like I said, one, when a hoe has a desire to choose a pimp, she should understand that the way it's supposed to go is the pimpin' interviews her. She doesn't interview the pimpin'. That's one. And then two, she should be ready. Because anything of value comes with a price. You know? And the pimpin' come with a couple of prices, right? A few prices. Of course, one of them prices is a choosing fee. You know, so a bitch that has some type of bands put together before she even on the pimp's line, she need to have something, right? And then two, a bitch need to be willing to give up some hoeing. Bitch need to be willing to give up some hoeing, right? Hold on. You know, because a bitch will give anybody her money, right? Bitches will pay boyfriends, they'll pay drug dealers, they'll pay even tricks. A bitch will pay a trick. They'll pay a dope fiend, they'll pay a motherfucker knowing that he got a gambling habit that controls him better than he controls it. Bitches will pay all these kind of motherfuckers, right? She'll give her money to any of them, you know. But it take a real pimp. It take a real pimp for a bitch to give her hoeing to. And when I'm talking about a bitch giving up some hoeing, I'm talking about a bitch fully surrendering herself, right? That's what it means to give up some hoeing. When a bitch is giving up her hoeing to a pimp, she's surrendering herself to a pimp. And a bitch giving a motherfucker some money, that doesn't mean that she's surrendering herself to him. Because you have a lot of situations where, you know what I mean, a bitch is giving up her money in exchange for this nigga's balls. Yeah, I want them balls, mister. If I'm gonna give you this trap, you gonna give me them balls. Yeah. Matter of fact. Hold on. Yeah, you know, that's how a lot of bitches work. You know, so a lot of bitches will pay a motherfucker, but they dictating the situation. Bitch can't dictate nothing with no pimp. It's only one leader in the situation, and that's supposed to be the pimping. But a lot of bitches give a motherfucker their money to be their leader, to control the situation, right? But that ain't how I go with a pimp. So just because a bitch is breaking herself to a motherfucker don't mean that she's giving some hoeing to a motherfucker. You know? But when a bitch give her hoeing up to a pimp, she's surrendering herself to a pimp. And in order for a bitch to surrender herself to a pimp, she's trusting that pimp. Just like the pimp is trusting her. And see, that's another thing that a lot of bitches don't understand. You know, a pimp stand a lot to lose in accepting a hoe. Whether or not anybody wants to admit it or not, whether or not the pimp might want to admit it, whether or not the bitch might want to admit it. The reality is, when a pimp accepts a hoe, he's trusting that bitch with his freedom, and he's trusting that bitch with his life. That's all the way real. Motherfuckers can say what they want, but that's the reality. Because the moment that bitch gives that pimpin' a trap, hey man, the bitch can put that motherfucker under the jail. Matter of fact, bitch ain't even gotta give a pimp a trap. The moment they have a conversation about choosing, the bitch could put that motherfucker under the jail. You know, so the moment a pimp accepts a bitch, he's entrusting her with his life. So, you know, just the same, in order for a bitch to surrender herself to a pimp, she's entrusting the pimping with her life. See, she's entrusting the pimping to lead her and guide her and teach her and help her build and help her grow. You know, she's trusting that the pimping is going to do all of that for her. When a bitch really surrender herself, that's some hoeing. Bitch ain't surrendering herself, it ain't no hoeing involved. You know? It's 164 y'all wiped your feet off at the door, but it's 260 y'all in here. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you came to a pimp's domain, do a pimp a favor and do that now. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. You dig? Now, of course, y'all know how I get out. I be chopping it and popping it. I get, you know, consumed by and overwhelmed by the spirit of pimping, and I just become a popping machine. I just pop it, right? So, I'm sure I missed a lot of y'all's questions. If you had any questions, you know what I mean? If you got any questions, now's a good time to ask those questions. Go ahead and shoot your shot. Got any questions, go ahead and shoot your shot. Let me see if I can see any questions that y'all might ask. I'm reading these comments in the meantime. Freeze, what's up, Pete? From the city. If you talking about Long Beach, dig that. That's what's up. Zaire Phoenix, why do Ohio and NC got the best whole potential? Ohio and NC, North Carolina, them places do have good whole potential, right? See, the thing about places like that, right? Places like that, their value system tends to be different, right? See, when you get people from the city, when you get people from big metropolises like LA, Chicago, New York, people from them places, they have a tendency to place a certain type of value on money or material things, and they have a tendency to not value people as much. See, it's different nowadays, right? Like, I'm from LA. When I was growing up in LA, everybody in the neighborhood talked to each other. You knew your neighbors. You knew everybody in the neighborhood, right? But the times that we live in now, you might live next door to a motherfucker for years and don't even know their name. And ain't had a conversation with them past, hey, how you doing? Right? So, one thing about places like North Carolina and Ohio, they still have that about them. You know what I mean? Speaking of Ohio, right? I remember one time, this is give you an example of how Ohio is versus a place like where I'm from, LA, right? I'm in Ohio. I'm in Cincinnati, right? And I was in this neighborhood. I didn't even know where I was at, but my battery started tripping on me, right? And my battery just played out on me. So my battery was fucked up, right? So it was an O'Reilly's not too far from where I was at. So I left my car right there and I walked to O'Reilly's, and I got not only did I get a battery, but there was a few tools that I needed to be able to change this battery, right? So I go to O'Reilly's, I come back with all the shit, I pop my hood open, and I'm in the hood, fucking with my battery and shit, right? So I was in front of this dude's house, and the dude came out, he was like, hey man, how you doing? Introduced himself, I'm like, oh, I'm doing good. Introduced myself. He was like, he seen what I was doing, he seen that I was fixing my battery. And I told him, I was like, yeah, my battery went out. And I walked to O'Reilly, I got a new battery and got some tools and stuff. And he was like, dang man, you didn't have to go buy them tools. All you had to do is come knock on my door. I got tools in my garage. You could have used my tools. Total stranger, never met this motherfucker in my life. But certain places in the Midwest and the South, that's just how people are. You know what I mean? This is a complete stranger, but he telling me like, shit, you didn't have to go buy them tools. All you had to do is come knock on my door. I got all the tools you need in my garage. In LA, that ain't gonna never happen. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say never, but it's like a 1 in a million chance that some shit like that gonna happen in LA. You know what I mean? Because again, people's value system is just different in certain places, right? The culture is just different in certain places. And like I said, back in the days, a motherfucker in LA might do you like that. So if you come across an older person in LA, they might be like that. But this dude who I'm talking about, he might have been maybe like 40 or something like that, maybe even late 30s, but like I said, that just gives you an example of how people in Ohio and North Carolina and other places like that are just different, right? You know, another thing about people from them places, they don't just be so consumed with technology most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, when I go to places like that, people don't just be consumed by their phone or consumed by social media. You know, these are places where, like, the family still sit down every night and have dinner together, and they have conversations at the dinner table. You know, LA, that shit don't really happen no more. People don't really do that too much no more, especially with social media now. Like, in LA, motherfuckers probably won't even sit down together to have dinner. They eat takeout, and when they eat their takeout, you know, everybody go to their room or go off to their little corner and be in their phone, and motherfuckers barely even talk to each other in the same house, right? But places in the South and the Midwest, they still, like, their value system is just different. So because their value system is different, that's why places like that, you know, for a pimp, it's gonna be beautiful. If you know how to appreciate that type of shit, and you know what to do with a bitch like that, that got a value system like that, that's raised in a family like that, you know what I mean, where she's still tight with all her family, you know, when you come across a bitch like that, man, it's a beautiful thing. And a bitch like that, you know, it's a higher likelihood of getting a good run out of a bitch like that. And then, like I always say, you know, my favorite hoes have been from the South and the Midwest. I like bitches from the South for different reasons, but I really, really like Midwest bitches. My favorite hoes and some of my best hoes that came from the Midwest, right? And, you know, one thing about bitches from the Midwest and the South too, but Midwest bitches, you know, like, they'll roll their sleeves up and ain't afraid to get their hands dirty, right? They ain't afraid to do some work. So I like that, you know. And Midwest bitches, they just be tough. They be having a lot of heart. You know, they don't be scared of too much of nothing. You know, them cold ass conditions that they come from, because most places in the Midwest get cold as a motherfucker. Especially like places like Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, them type of places, that shit get cold as a motherfucker in the wintertime. You know, so if you get a bitch from them type of places, 9 times out of 10, you know, the bitch gonna have a certain type of toughness about herself. Yeah, Buffalo, like Prince Elegant say, Buffalo, New York is a knockable town too. You know, see, like Buffalo, it's considered the East Coast because it's in New York, but Buffalo really got like a Midwest vibe to it, you know? And it's real close to Ohio. That might be part of the reason why, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's another good place, you know? But bitches from them type of places, they have a tendency to have a lot of heart. Them bitches don't be scared of nothing, and they be tough. You know what I mean? Them bitches they can handle some pressure. 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? So I really like the Midwest when it comes to knocking a bitch. Mr. Marcus say, how you feel about that backlash you received from that incident at the hotel with old boy? I don't know what situation you talking about. You said at the hotel. Mr. Marcus, I'm not sure what you're talking about. You're gonna have to Elaborate on that. The collector. So would you accept the 304 without the proper payment? See, it depends, right? My thing, when it comes to a bitch choosing me, right? My thing is, most importantly, a bitch just being willing to break herself, right? Because I might tell a bitch my choosing fee is $10,000, but the bitch might have $50,000. But if she come with $10,000 and she got $50,000, I'm gonna feel shorted. She might tell herself, or she might tell me like, "Oh, well, you said $10,000, so here go to $10,000." No, my choosing fee is everything. You know, I want the whole thing from the bitch. So, on the flip side of that coin, you know, my thing is, you know, coming to an understanding of what the bitch got. You know, like you say, proper payment, proper fee, or what have you. You know, the bitch might not have a whole bunch of money, but she might get down, and she proving herself through getting down and going hard to make it happen and run it up. You know what I mean? She might not have like what other bitches might have had in terms of money, but she might have what other bitches didn't have in terms of hoeing. You know, again, like I said, it's that surrender part. As long as a bitch is willing to surrender herself, that's the most important thing. You know, so me, I'm first thing I want to know is how much a bitch got. Like, bitch, what you got over there? Before I just, you know, I'm giving a lot of game with this too, man. But, you know, before I just jump out there with a particular number, a bitch might ask me what the fee is. I'm a retort with how much you got. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna tell you, bitch, that my fee is this much and you got 5 or 10 times that amount. How much you got over there, bitch? Okay, well, that's the fee. Everything. You know? Because I'm teaching bitches certain shit. And it's a lesson in that. I'm going to elaborate on that and use that as an example when I'm lacing the bitch on how to deal with a trick. You know? Daryl Jackson say, blood. This some anti-black shit. My bad, I'm gone on bounty hunters. Nah, it ain't no anti-black shit. It's just some game-oriented shit. It ain't at all anti-black. I'm really a proud black man. You know what I mean? So, nah. It's definitely some game-oriented shit, though. That's really what it's about. It ain't anti-black at all, though, man. If you want to soak up some game, this is where you want to be. Yeah, I ain't even gonna go there, man. I wanted to start roasting, man, but I ain't gonna go there, man. Some motherfuckers just ain't even worth anything. Imani Malaya. So basically you're saying give the money to the man? No. Basically I'm saying for a hoe to break herself to a pimp. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying just for a female to give her money to a man. I'm talking about a hoe breaking herself to a pimp. Specifically. You know, I don't think a woman should just give her, I mean, if you're a square, I don't think a woman should just give her money to a man just because that's her man. Like, if it don't make sense, then not. But if it does make sense, then, you know, feel free. But I'm talking about pimping and hoeing. And I'm talking about a hoe breaking herself to a pimp. That's what I'm talking about specifically. Imani. Jacob Shaw, good looking with the $3 holla. Have you ever had an East Indian or an Asian woman? I had an East Indian female for a very short, very short period, right? Maybe like, I want to say like a week or something, right? And she wasn't really, it didn't have anything to do with her culture, her being East Indian, but she was a lazy chick, you know what I mean? Now she was a real East Indian, like her parents was from India, you know, but she just wasn't. But to be fair, she was going through a deep depression at the time when I had her around me, right? She was going through a deep depression, and she couldn't get past that depression at that time. So that roadblock prevented us from moving forward together. But she has some good qualities about herself, but that depression is what fucked it up. And as far as an Asian female, nah, I haven't had any Asians. I've had some Pacific Islander. I've had a Pacific Islander before, but not an Asian. The Collector says, they show us some love in the South. I'm about to migrate to the NO and see what it's looking like. Have you been? Yeah, I've been to New Orleans. New Orleans done changed a lot. I used to like it when I went years ago, like damn near 10 years ago. But the last time I was there was about 3 years ago, and I didn't like it as much. And one main reason why I don't like New Orleans is because it's just a certain energy that's real thick there. It's a real strong negative energy in New Orleans, right? And how that energy presents itself physically, right, is the fact that the majority of pimps got guns out there. And, you know, it's one thing to have a gun, and it's another thing to walk around with your gun on you. And in New Orleans, damn near every pimp that I knew out there at the time when I was out there walked around with a gun on them. You know what I mean? They take their gun everywhere they go. And I don't like being in places like that. I don't like being in places where you gotta keep your gun on you everywhere you go. I don't want to be nowhere like that. You know what I mean? And New Orleans is one of them places. So when I seen that, it's always been a dangerous city. But when I seen that, and then not just that, but like, the dynamics of the city that changed a lot as far as how you get your money there. You know what I mean? It just, in a lot of ways, the well done ran dry. You can still get some money there, but it's just a lot different. So, but you might talk to somebody else who'd have been there more recently, and they might have a different testimony. But that's just my experience, my most recent experience with New Orleans, which, like I say, was 3 years ago. Jacob Shaw, once again, good looking with the $3 holler. Would you take in a fat woman? It depends. A fat woman might have she might have a possibility of fucking with me, but again, like I say, first and foremost, that surrender part. If she's surrendering herself to some pimping, that's one thing, and then two, within her surrendering herself, she got to have a desire to be better. And within her desire to be better, she got to have a desire to lose that weight. And if she's, see, that's the thing with me, right? The pimp's job is to make a hoe better, right? The pimp's job is to improve a hoe all the way around. But you can't make somebody better who don't want to be better, right? So just like every pimp done had them type of bitches that don't want no game. They just like being with a pimp, but they don't want to receive the game. They're kind of like incorrigible in a way, right? Like they closed-minded. They don't want to let you in and drop some game deposits in their mind, right? Some bitches is like that. Bitch like that, you can't grow and build with a bitch like that, So just on that same token, if it's a bitch that's fat, she has to have a desire to be better, and she got to be willing to help herself get better. I can't make her be better because I want her to be better. If she don't want to be better, then it's useless. But it could be a fat bitch, but if she got a desire to lose that weight, and she's showing and proving that she wants to lose that weight, then yeah, shit, y'all know me, I'm into fitness. So I'm the perfect motherfucker for a fat bitch to choose if she want to lose the weight. But to be honest with you, based on what I've seen, I've rarely seen a bitch that was big that wanted to lose that weight and was showing it and proving it. So 9 times out of 10, nah. But it is possible. It's just the likelihood of it is slim to none. So basically, if she can't correct, yeah, she might got action. James Turner, as always, good looking with the $5 holler. Keep your head up, Pete. Indeed, I appreciate you. Most deaf. You dig? Pride say, slide me a Draco, bro. Trolls on go, man. Yeah, they doing their thing. I'm surprised ain't nobody in here with a Draco right now, because I don't think I could do it from my phone. Yeah, see, the one time when I passed out the Dracos, I believe I was either on the tablet or the laptop. You know, when I'm on there, you know, it's a different format, so I'm able to do more shit. But from the phone, I don't know how to do it, or I don't know if you can do it. Right, Goldie, you remember I was on my laptop. And Goldie, I don't think you was there when I was passing out the Dracos. Because you know you would have got one for sure. Yeah, it's all good. You know, when I get to a computer, y'all already know, everybody's supposed to have a Draco, go get one, man. I'm surprised ain't nobody in here with one right now, though. That's crazy. James Hudson was in here earlier. He got a Draco, but I guess he ain't here no more. Because he usually be on his job. But it's all good, though. You dig? Once again, man, if you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you came into a pimp's domain, please do so now. What I mean by that is hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button one time for a pimp, please, and thank you. Ricky Reese say, in your opinion, how much weight does looks have on getting women to choose up? You know, it can hold some weight. But see, you know, when we say looks, right? This is one thing, right? When it comes to the pimping, one thing the pimping for sure is fly. You know what I mean? So it don't really necessarily matter how you look if you might consider yourself to not be the most handsome motherfucker, or you know what I mean? You know, first of all, pimp gonna always consider himself to be a good looking motherfucker, man. You know, because like I say, all pimps is fly, right? But you know, generally women might think that you're not the most physically attractive or whatever the case may be, but a pimp is fly. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be presenting flyness to a bitch. You know, and that might not necessarily, it's not so much about looks, it's just about taking care of yourself. However you are, whether you short or tall, fat or skinny, whatever the case may be, you a fly motherfucker. You know, you take care of yourself, you stay well groomed, you stay smelling good, you got some nice, you dress nice, you know what I mean? You know, that's really what it's about with some pimping. You know, it's as far as the looks. Now, of course, if you a good looking, if you would bitches find to be physically attractive, that can help, but you don't want that to be the only reason why a bitch wants to choose you. You know, because I've had them type of bitches. I've had them type of bitches where the only reason why the bitch wanted to fuck with me was because she wanted to fuck me. She wanted me to, you know, pipe her down. And them type of situations, they don't turn out good for a pimp. You know, now, of course, I've had situations where a bitch had a strong desire to be sexual with me, but at the same time, she had a strong desire to hold for me. And you know, them situations could work out. And with, you know, because if a bitch got a strong desire to hold for you, then, you know, she gon' come to understand. She's surrendering herself to you. And within her surrendering herself to you, she gonna come to understand, you know, what it takes to be your hoe. And she's gonna be able to put things in proper perspective via your pimping, right? So I've had situations where a bitch got a strong desire to go there physically with me, but at the same time she got a strong desire to hoe, and I'll let the bitch know, like, look, you know, it's a time and place for everything. And believe me, bitch, if you stick around, you're gonna get it. But that's not what you're here for. That's not what we are here for. You know, that's just something that, you know, comes with the territory. But it's not high on the priority list. You know, I done had hoes that I didn't fuck at all. And I done had hoes that I laid it to. You know what I mean? So, but basically that shouldn't, this is the thing. As far as looks go, you know, a hoe wanna be with a good looking motherfucker, most deaf. But like I said, it don't always have to be a sexual thing. Like I said, the pimping is fly. So when you a fly motherfucker, you gonna look good to be around. You know, no matter necessarily what your physical appearance may be. If you got some flyness with you, then you gonna be a good looking motherfucker to be with, right? And it might not always be a sexual thing. You know? Now, of course, you know, a bitch, she might be physically attracted to you, but her desire to have sex with you shouldn't be, you know, the determining factor as to whether or not she gonna choose you. You know, bitch wanna choose a motherfucker for some pimping. If she's some hoeing, and you know the sex ain't, you know, that's low on the list of priorities. Ebony says, mixing pleasure and business. See, I say all the time, right? See, this is what a lot of people don't understand about the game of pimping and hoeing, right? Now, in most business, in most industries, the business model is, business never pleasure. You separate, or business never personal. You know what I mean? You separate personal from business, right? But in the world of pimping and hoeing, at least for me, speaking for my own pimping, my business is personal, right? Because, yeah, we conducting business with one another as pimping and hoeing, but we dealing with each other on a personal level, you know? Because pimps and hoes got love for each other. In most other lines of business, you don't necessarily have to have love for somebody to do business with them, right? But when it's pimping and hoeing going on, pimps and hoes got love for each other, right? And it's gonna be hard for a pimp and a hoe to thrive together and succeed together if they don't have love for each other, right? So I say all of that to say, you know, with me, my business is personal, right? So with my hoes, yeah, we're gonna have some pleasure as well as conducting business. And see, when I say pleasure, I'm not talking about just sexual. You know, we're gonna have a lot of fun together. We're gonna take time to smell the roses. We're gonna enjoy this life because we're going hard for this shit. So we're gonna take time to enjoy ourselves, you know? And sex is, it might just fall within that realm of pleasure. But of course the pleasure is not, it's not gonna make or break us. Oh shit, y'all gonna have to hold on a second. Excuse my pivot, y'all. Hold on. Oh shit. Damn. Excuse my pivot one. right, I'm back with y'all, man. Excuse my pimping. But like I said, you know, it's my pimp partner calling from the penitentiary, man. You know, I don't get to talk to him all the time. So whenever I do, you know, it ain't like I can call him whenever I want. You know what I mean? Or I could you know how that shit go. If you got loved ones in the penitentiary, you understand. But back to this game, though. You dig? Let me Now, I normally don't entertain the trolls. I normally don't entertain the bullshit. But that was funny. Read it on Reddit said he got it on mute. He don't want you to hear the 304 in the passenger seat. She was talking back to him on live. That was some funny ass shit. That was comedy. You get comment of the day right there. You know what I mean? That was some funny ass shit there. You really made a pimp laugh with that one. That's funny as hell. Oh man. Nah, pimp ain't gonna deal with them type of problems. You know? That was some good shit though. See, in that case, that'd be a situation where, you know, the bitch ain't surrendered herself to a pimp. If the bitch surrender herself to a pimp, she ain't gonna talk crazy to a pimp. Especially if she know a pimp on live. But nah, pimp ain't dealing with them kind of problems. That is funny. Damn, I got this shit on my screen and I don't know how to fucking get rid of that shit. Snoopy Blue 20 says, how do you know you're actually meant for the pimping versus just being a ladies' man? That's a good question, right? Now, one thing a pimp is, for sure, is a leader, right? And you don't necessarily have to be a leader to be a ladies' man, right? Ladies' man, you know, you might have a lot of women like you got a way with women, so on and so forth, right? But you might just not have a pimping in you. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, it's certain gifts that a pimp is born with that not everybody is born with. Now, that doesn't mean that pimps are born. It means that when you some pimping, you born with certain gifts, and those gifts make you well suited to pimp. But you could possibly use those gifts to do other things. Like, it's certain motherfuckers that might not never decide to pimp or might not, you know, accept the game, but they might have some pimping with them, you know. But they might just remain. Boy, there's so many things trying to come against this game. But like I say, you know, the pimping is born with certain gifts, right? One of those gifts is like leadership qualities, right? And, you know, another thing about it, you got to be a man. You know, and when I say a man, I'm talking about a man's man for real. And you don't necessarily have to be like that to be a ladies' man. You know what I mean? I'm talking about really having some backbone and being able to stand firm and have that certain type of masculine energy that's just gonna command certain shit. You know, you don't necessarily have to be that way to be a ladies' man. But you gotta be that way to be this pimping though. Hold on, I'm just just paying attention to my surroundings. Excuse my pimping for a second. Hold on. Trying to see what the speed limit is here, because last thing I need is a damn ticket. I think the speed limit is the same, but I'm trying to see that it ain't changed. But yeah, see, it's just certain things that the pimpin' just got about him, right? You know, see, in order to be a ladies' man, you don't necessarily have to display greatness to a woman, right? But when you some pimping, you gotta display greatness to a woman in order, you know, because to be a ladies' man, you might just be sleeping with women, or you might have different relationships with women, and they serve different purposes or whatever the case may be. But again, you some pimping, your objective is to get some hoeing out of a bitch. Your objective is to break her for her hoeing. You know, you want to break her for that surrender as well as the trap. So again, that's not necessary to be a ladies' man, but it's necessary to be this pimping though. You know, so in order, it's not something easy for just any man to do, is to get a female, period, to surrender themselves to them. And it's even that much more difficult of a task. Well, I ain't gonna say difficult. It takes that much more distinguished of a man to get a hoe to surrender herself. And you know, that distinguished man is some pimping. You know, a hoe ain't gonna just surrender herself to just a ladies' man. You know, and it's just simple shit, right? Like my loved one, right? I was talking to my loved one earlier, and they was driving somewhere, and he you know, he trying to get his feet wet in the game, and he got a young lady that's fucking with him and shit. And they riding on the highway, he driving, and I'm like, he told me where he was going. I'm like, well, what freeway you on? He like, I don't know, I'm just riding. I'm like, come on, man, you supposed to be leading this hoe, and you don't even know what freeway you on? Like, you supposed to know shit like that. What if the bitch asks you what freeway you on? You gonna tell her you don't know? You know, you want to remain unquestionable in everything when you're around a hoe as a pimp. You know, you don't have to be unquestionable to be a ladies' man, but you do have to be unquestionable to be a pimp. You don't want to raise any type of suspicion or any doubts in a bitch's mind to make her question why she's fucking with you, right? You know, like I say, you want to display greatness in every way possible. Whatever question a bitch got for you, you want to be able to answer it. And you don't want, if you have those qualities about yourself, you know, then you might have some pimping with you. You know, but every ladies' man ain't got them qualities about themselves. Jacob Shaw, once again, good looking with the $2 holler. What are the best states to trick in your opinion? All of them. Every state is the best state to trick in, man. As long as it's a hoe in that motherfucker, and it's a hoe in every state that I know of, it's a good state to trick in. You know what I mean? So whatever state that you in, that's the best state to trick in. Whatever state that you go into, that's the best state to trick in. Whatever state you in right now, that's the best state to trick in. You know what I mean? It's good to trick wherever you at if you want to do some tricking. But you know, to go further, you know, to take it a little deeper, depends on what you like. You know, like if you like thicker women, if you want to trick on some thicker women, then the South is probably where you want to be. You know, the South has a tendency to have a lot of thick hoes. You know, the South, they eating good. So, you know, bitches be having meat on their bones in the South. So, if you like thick bitches, then the South is probably where you want to be. If you like skinnier bitches, then the West Coast is probably where you want to be. You know, West Coast has a tendency to have more, you know, smaller bitches, petite bitches, in shape bitches, so on and so forth. You know, that's the West Coast for the most part. So, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, it depends. If you like Japanese bitches, Hawaii is a good place to go trick. If you like Chinese bitches, San Francisco is a good place to go trick. You know? Jeffrey McKiller say New York got a variety. You know, New York is one of the places that's going to have the most diversity that you can find. Miami is another place with a lot of diversity in women. You know, so if you want to get your Baskin Robbins on 31 flavors, then yeah, Miami and New York is good places for that. Tony Storm say Louisiana, I seen some dumb thick. Yeah, that's the South. You know, the South got them thick ones, thick curvy women. If you like that, then you know the South is where you want to be. Kyle Harrison say, appreciate the knowledge, Freeze. It's all good. I appreciate you appreciating it, man. For real. I appreciate you soaking it up and tuning in. Sam Hercules say, damn, uptown Minnesota on fire right now, B. I'm already knowing, man. That's a sad situation. I'll tell you what, though. It's only so far that you can push people, man. So, if them officers, see, they think they did something by firing them, but that ain't enough, man. You know, because if anybody else kills somebody in cold blood, guess what? They going to jail. And they going to stand trial. And with that type of evidence, like being, you know, killing somebody in cold blood on video, if a civilian do that, they going down. They probably ain't going to never see the light of day again. You know, so, you know, I appreciate my brother Andre Taylor, man, because he did so much. He's really responsible for birthing a culture of police accountability. You know, like a lot of places, it wasn't even a thought to prosecute police for murder. You know, but the work that Andre Taylor has put in with the Not This Time movement, hey man, it did a lot of work, a lot of wonders, man. He really pushed the envelope with that. So it's a beautiful thing, man. So now, you know, the FBI is investigating that situation, man, and hopefully they bring justice, man, because them police, they need more than just losing their job. You know what I mean? They need more than that, because as fucked up as it is, it's possible for them to get hired at another department. the likelihood is slim to none because all the controversy that's surrounding them guys. You know, I don't think they're gonna be able to get another job in law enforcement anywhere else. But they need more than they need their freedom snatched from them. They got their badge and their gun snatched from them, but they need their freedom snatched from them too. On the real, that motherfucker that put his knee in George Floyd's neck, that motherfucker need his life snatched from him. That's just all the way 100. Motherfucker need his life snatched. They need to do him the same way he did George Floyd. Let a motherfucker put their knee in his neck. See how he take that. You know, that shit ain't cool, man. This is fucked up. And I just hope they, for once, man, for once, do the right thing. I hope for once they do the right thing, man. Born Supreme say, at about what age do most P's get in the game? Like, is there an average age of when cats get on? You know, I say the majority of P's get in the game when they fairly young. Most P's I know, they get in the game, you know, probably late teens, early 20s. You got some cats that claim they had gotten the game when they was 12 and 13 and all of that. You know, you know, that's a whole nother discussion though. But most cats, I guess, get in the game because, you know, keep in mind you got to be a man first now. Most cats get in the game, you know, I guess, you know, I say motherfuckers really coming to they pimping, I say like early to mid 20s, you know. Okay, Tyson Perryman say, you mentioned before that your keep hand is better than your catch hand. Mine hands are vice versa. What are some keys to keeping your keep hand strong, shit, and maintaining your household? Understanding, for one. You know, a lot of cats keep hand. A lot of cats don't really want a strong keep hand. A lot of cats don't care to keep bitches for a long time. You know, they just want the money. So, them type of cats, when you focus on the money, you're going to negate a whole lot of things, right? So you're going to pimp hard and fast. In real, some situations are like that. You're going to come across certain bitches that you're going to pimp hard and fast on. You know what I mean? But when you get seasoned in the game, when you done did enough pimping, you know what hoes have the potential to stay and what hoes don't. You know, so you never know when a bitch is gonna blow. You know, you can't say what a hoe ain't gonna do and what a hoe gonna do. You know, so but if you got a hoe with some potential to stay down and stick around, you know, it's about a connection, man. You know, if you know how to develop a connection with a hoe, and then, you know, cultivate that connection, then that's really what it's about, man. And that, as well as, you know, like you say, household, you know, getting them to understand that, you know, they gonna have wifeys. You ain't gotta necessarily be best friends with your wifeys. It goes along a lot better if you are friends with your wifeys. But the main thing is having a connection, man. Like I say, once you got that surrender, once you get a hold of surrender, then from there it's about, you know, developing a connection with that hoe. The deeper that connection is, the better your keep in with that hoe is gonna be. So Snoopy Blue 20 says, appreciate you elaborating. I always feared taking advantage of some girls and fought it, but I knew I had something in my bones, but could never put my finger on it. See, you only feel like you taking advantage, and see, it's funny you say that, right? Because you got a lot of cats that really consider themselves some pimping for real, right? But they'll tell you that they think that they won't use the words take advantage, but they'll tell you that they think a bitch is stupid for handling their money. You got motherfuckers that really believe that in the game. It's crazy. But you only feel like you're taking advantage of somebody if you're not giving them what they pay for. If you're not making it worth their while. If you know that you're making it worth a hoe's while to fuck with you, then you're not going to feel like you're taking advantage. And again, that goes back to understanding your value and understanding what you bring to the table. You know, I ain't never felt like I was taking advantage of a hoe, because I know for sure what I got to offer this bitch. And I know for sure how I'm going to benefit her. How it's going to be in her best interest to fuck with me. Like, I know that clearly. Without a doubt. So, but if you don't understand that, if you don't understand how it's in the hoe's best interest to fuck with you and how she's going to benefit from fucking with you, then I can understand why you might feel like you're taking advantage. You know? But you got a lot of cats that swear they some pimping, but they really believe they taking advantage of the bitch. Again, they might not necessarily use them words, but in so many words, that's what they believe they doing. They don't even think it makes sense for a bitch to give them this money. But they still gonna take it though. Shit crazy. Meat Wild Baggins says, how many hoes is too many? I don't know, you know, to each their own. Some cats don't like having a lot of hoes. Some cats like having a lot of hoes. You know, I done met I know certain pimps, they don't want to have no more than 3 to 5 hoes. I know certain pimps that got 10 hoes, 15 hoes, so on and so forth. You know, like, to each their own. It all depends on that individual. Right, like Ricky Reese said, depend on the man. Depend on the pimpin'. What's your worst firing experience? Anthony Taylor, that's a good question. Let me see, man. Let me see. Because I done did a lot of firing, man. Worst firing experience? Okay, I don't know if this is the worst firing experience, right? But this is one of the most. The bitch in this story that I'm about to tell down, and then y'all can tell me what you think, right? The bitch even swore to me, because I seen the bitch probably like a year after I fired her, close to a year after I fired her. You know what I mean? She begged me to talk to her. She was in tears, and she begged me to talk to her. And I, you know, because she was in tears and begged me to talk to her, I was like, fuck it, I'll talk to her. But, you know, so, you know, if a bitch don't get fired, then she blows up. Now, a bitch who blows up on a pimp, a bitch who didn't get fired, I don't know why she would be in tears and beg a pimp to talk to her who she didn't get fired by, but nonetheless, right, this is the story, right? I had this bitch, and I only had her probably for about 30 days, and then I was on probation at the time, so I violated my probation, so I went to jail. I sat down for about 30 days, right? And within the time that I was sitting down in jail, this bitch, she was kind of like going crazy. She was on some personal shit between me and her. She was just going, she was on some weird shit, right? But anyway, when I get out of jail, now mind you, this bitch had her own place, right? She had her own place when I knocked her. So she maintained her own place while I had her, right? So when I get out of jail, I meet up with her, right? And I go to her house. Now, when I go to her house, this bitch got brand new, she done put brand new everything in her house. You know what I mean? She got a kid. She got her kid a brand new bedroom set. She got herself a brand new bedroom set. She got brand new flat screen TVs on the wall in her kid's room and her room, right? Brand new living room set. Everything in the kitchen brand new. The bitch, like, I'm just estimating everything in my head as she bragging. She like braggadociously showing me everything in the house. Like, ooh, look what I got. I got this. I got this for the kid. I got this for myself. Da 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 da. Right. And like I say, I'm guesstimating everything in my head. And I know this bitch done spent like at least $10,000 in this house, if not more, right? And okay, I'm just knowing the bitch finna have a big old trap for me, right? I've been locked up for 30 days. I know the bitch gonna have a big old bag for my pimping. The bitch don't have no big old bag for my pimping. The bitch didn't have nothing for my pimping. And it's not like she told me, because I communicated with her some while I was locked up. Oh, I got to tell that part of the story too, right? Now, I had a good mind to fire this bitch before I even got out of jail, right? Because my partner was in communication with the bitch while I was locked up, right? Now, this is the thing. I was in Arizona when I got locked up, but my probation was out of Virginia. So I had an interstate compact to Arizona. And the way my probation was set up, whenever you violate, you get extradited back to Virginia, right? So while I was waiting to get extradited to Virginia, I had to sit in jail. But the thing is, the way where I had my probation in Virginia, the way it's set up, when you get a probation violation over there, you got a bail, right? So I knew that when I got to Virginia, I was going to be able to bail out. Now, I wasn't exactly sure how much my bail was going to be. So my partner, he was in communication with the bitch, right? And I was more so in communication with him than I was the bitch. And him one, he's telling what said conversation that they had, right? He telling the bitch like, yeah, you know, the bitch is talking like, oh, I shit 500s and I piss 300s and this and that, right? So she talking big hoeing, right? And Pippin like, he tell her like, well, you know, Freeze bail, once he get to Virginia, he gonna have a bail. Now his bail might be 500. The bitch was like, oh, I pissed 300 and I shit 500 all day long. Then he told the bitch, you know, his bail might be 5,000 as well. Might have to raise 5,000. The bitch had the audacity to tell him, oh, I don't know if he's worth 5,000. I don't know if he's worth all that. Now, this is a bitch, you know, she kind of arrogant, right? But I'm Freeze the pimp. And there's no way in the world that I'm going to let that slide, right? So, she talking about pissing 5s and shitting 3s and all this shit, right? So, basically, long story short, when I get to Virginia, Pippin had to bail me out. You know, I had the money, but I couldn't bail myself out. So what I'm doing is, you know, I had Pippin bail me out and I just shot him the money back when I got out, right? So I get out of jail, I go see the bitch, and like I said, fast forward back to that, the bitch showing me all this shit in her house. She done spent a good 10,000 or more in that house, right? She ain't got no money for me. You know? And I'm like, bitch, what, you know, what's up with the trap? And I can't remember what she said, but I basically let the bitch know. Because like I said, I kind of had my mind made up already, but I still gave her a chance to redeem herself, right? She didn't redeem herself. She actually dug herself deeper in the hole with my pimping. So, you know, needless to say, I fired the bitch, right? And, you know, there's a whole bunch of drama to follow after that, but that's how I ended up firing the bitch. So, yeah, that was it. You know, the bitch, it was crazy. The bitch, she just, yeah, that, like I said, that's one of my more interesting fire stories. But long story short, she came to regret how she mishandled my pimping, and I think she still, you know, there's been some years. It's been some years since this happened, and I think she still to this day regrets mishandling my pimping and undervaluing my pimping, misassessing my pimping the way that she did, right? I think still to this day she regrets that. You know, because the bitch, this particular bitch, right? She was like how I was saying, You got hoes that'll pay a pimp, but won't surrender themselves to a pimp, won't get a hoe into a pimp. That's how this bitch was, right? She done paid the shit out of certain pimps, but she ain't never surrendered herself to a pimp. Well, I ain't gonna say never, but from what I know, she ain't never surrendered. You know what? Yeah. She ain't never surrendered herself to a pimp. I can say that, right? She never surrendered herself to a pimp, and, you know, but she paid so good with these past pimps that I guess they was kind of, you know, they kind of accepted the fact that she didn't really surrender herself long as she was paying the shit out of him, right? So, you know, by the time she came to me, she kind of had like a, you know, by them accepting certain things from her, she was real arrogant, and she probably wouldn't articulate it that way, but she really seen herself as bigger than the pimping. She liked fucking with pimps, but she really seen herself as bigger than the pimping, right? Now, I'm the only one that fired this bitch. You know, them other cats, because they know she a money getting bitch, they probably would have accepted her doing what she did to me, right? But I'm really a pimp, and I have to pimp when I'm dealing with hoes. I can't deal with a hoe that she not letting me pimp. And it's a wrestling match. I like, me and a bitch like that ain't gonna get far. And a bitch that thinks she more important than me or bigger than me, you know what I mean? Or like, it's a blessing for me to be with her, and me, I'm just like, oh, I'm just another pimp. Like, nah, it ain't gonna work. Like I ain't gonna get nowhere with a bitch like that. So that was pretty much her attitude. She treated the pimping like the pimping was expendable, basically. And when I fired the bitch, it fucked the bitch head up. You know what I mean? And, you know, the story is a lot deeper than what I'm saying. You know, it's a lot to it. But basically, I say all that to say the bitch, you know, she regrets to this day, I'm pretty sure, mishandling my pimping the way that she did. But Jacob Shaw, good looking with the $5 holla. Do women ever get backlash from being in the game for doing something treacherous? Damn. Fucking non-driving ass truck driving. But backlash in the game for doing something treacherous. Yeah. It depends on what that treacherous thing is, and it depends on who she does it to. You know, it's sad, man. Bitches used to get backlash more so from doing a treacherous thing. The treacherous thing of telling on a pimp and putting a pimp behind bars undeservingly, right? You know, when you sign up to hoe, that's just something that you understand. You know, hoes ain't, you know, people in the game, period. People in the street life, period. When you sign up to be a part of the street life and live the street life, you just understand that you don't help the police do their job on no type of level, right? But you got bitches in the game that do that type of shit. It's funny because I just roasted a nigga. Nigga call himself getting out his face talking crazy on my name on social media. You know, these keyboard warriors, right? These keyboard warriors that don't nobody in the game really know or respect. One of them type of irrelevant motherfuckers, right? Another motherfucker that talks shit about me being on YouTube but got a YouTube channel of his own that ain't went nowhere, right? One of them type of motherfuckers. called himself talking crazy to me, I had to roast him because he accepted a bitch that and I can't make this shit up. Y'all probably think I'm exaggerating, but it's a true story. This one particular bitch snitched on 8 pimps. This bitch was a serial snitch, literally. But it was a weird type of thing. And honestly, this bitch is so sick in the head, I think she really got a fetish for snitching on pimps, right? But her thing was, her justification for it was, oh, I ain't never got on the stand on a pimp. But she done called the police on and got cases put on 8 different pimps. This was at that time. You know what I mean? It might be more since then, but that I know of. Up until the last pimp that she snitched on. The bitch snitched on 8 pimps. She called the police and made a statement and got cases put on 8 different pimps. Now, in all them 8 different pimps cases, right? As far as I know, none of them went to the pen because when it came time for the bitch to testify on them, she would disappear purposely. And, you know, the case would get dropped. So, like I say, the bitch was sick in the head. I really believe the bitch, she has like a fetish of calling the police and writing a statement on the pimp. You know what I mean? So, and it's weird because she'll call the police and tell on the pimp and tell the police like, yeah, he didn't force me to do anything. You know, I willingly gave him my money and da-da-da-da-da. He treated me good. He bought me things. He was nice to me. And the police would be tripping off of this bitch like they trying to get her to say some fucked up shit. Well, did he beat you? Nah, he didn't beat me. Or, yeah, he beat me one time, but I deserved it and da-da-da-da-da. Weird bitch, right? Weird motherfucking bitch. But this nigga that had the audacity to get out his face and talk bad on my pimpin' accepted this bitch, knowing what she's done to 8 different pimps, right? This nigga took this bitch in. That's a treacherous thing for a bitch to do. Snitch on 8 different pimps, that's some treacherous shit. Especially who motherfuckers who like, you read the paperwork in these cases and the bitch is telling the police this motherfucker was nice to her. He didn't force her to do nothing. But she's still calling the police on these motherfuckers, right? But I say all that to say, like, we just at a point in time in the game right now where bitches could do treacherous shit to pimps and probably even the hoes too. But as long as she's still willing to pay a pimp, a motherfucker gonna accept her. You know, that's a scumbag in my eyes, just like the nigga who I was roasting earlier. He a scumbag in my eyes because you know this bitch that told on 8 different pimps, but you know something that them 8 different pimps didn't know, huh? Yeah, them niggas miss pimps. They just didn't know how to deal with the bitch. I got some game for that though. It's the shit that nigga said. I got some game for that. Oh, sucker ass nigga. And it's one of the many niggas who's speaking down on me and speaking down on Sinful, and a relevant ass nigga in the game, ain't got an ounce of pimping with him, ain't never had a fly moment in his life, which I ain't never met or heard of a pimp that never had a fly moment in his life. This nigga ain't never had a fly moment in his life. And aside from that snitch bitch, the only bitches I've ever seen this nigga have is dope fiend ass bitches. You know what I mean? That look like that he went. This nigga look like he go campaigning in Skid Row. You know, real pimps, we not campaigning at Skid Row. We not going to Skid Row to knock a bitch. But this nigga, the type of bitch that he be having, he look like he go to Skid Row. You know what I mean? He put his best outfit on. He spray on his motherfucking Brute cologne. He one of them type of motherfuckers. He one of them Brute cologne wearing motherfuckers. He just look like he wear Brute. But this old Brute cologne wearing ass nigga, he got the fresh Spaldings, fresh out the box from Walmart, you know what I mean? Got the fresh and one jumpsuit, you know what I mean? Got the fresh and one jumpsuit, the fresh brand new Spaldings, you know what I mean? They ain't never worn before, you know, and he's spraying on this Brute cologne and he going to motherfucking Skid Row to knock him a bitch. You know what I mean? Talking about my pimping and talking about sinful. This nigga is crazy. What type of nigga like that and you accept the snitch bitches? This nigga is so much with him. He done let niggas talk to him like a bitch. He done let niggas like mark him out. But anyway, I say all of that to say it's sad, but you got a lot of motherfuckers that's accepted in the game, call themselves this pimping, that's gonna accept a bitch to do some treacherous shit like snitch on a motherfucker. Ain't no way in the world that I can comfortably accept a bitch knowing that she helped the police do their job in any type of way. Can't fuck with no bitch like that. I can't do it. And I don't know how anybody can, but you know, you got some spineless ass niggas, you got some desperado ass niggas, you know what I mean? Right, Vic Shepard, you say never thought about Brute. Yeah, that's fly motherfucker, you know. Fly motherfuckers, we not wearing Brute. But this old sucker ass nigga that I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Then he had the nerve to brag to me about a 96 Camry. That shit had me dying, man. And this nigga had the nerve. See, niggas get real tough. You know, you gotta really hate yourself. You really gotta not like the way life is treating you to be the type of nigga to get behind a keyboard and type some shit to a nigga that you know damn well you not gonna say to his face. But I encounter these type of niggas all the time though. Every nigga that talk crazy to me on social media that I seen face to face, none of them was tough. Every last one of them was a nice guy. They was a sweetheart. Every nigga that was inside their mind couldn't find a place to rest till they got that thug life tatted on their chest on the internet. You know what I mean? These niggas were sweethearts when I seen them in the flesh. You know what I mean? These sweetheart ass niggas, man. You know? And, you know, but this nigga that I'm talking about, he a sweetheart too. Nigga, you a sweetheart. But you talking crazy on the internet to a real pimp. You know, talking tough. Like knowing damn well he wouldn't say none of this. If he seen me anywhere, you're not saying none of this. You know what I mean? These type of niggas they kill me. It's frustrating that a nigga is so comfortable being a coward. Because that's what a coward gonna do. Coward gonna talk tough on the internet, you know what I mean? And then they gonna be, you know, they gonna be a grizzly bear over the internet, but they gonna be Teddy Ruxpin in the flesh. You know, it take a real coward ass nigga to do that. You know, be a grizzly bear in person, man. You know? But if you a sweetheart in person and you know you a sweetheart, you know you really a nice guy, it's okay to be that over the internet. You know what I mean? People will accept you for who you are. But I think what it is, you know, motherfuckers, they know in some type of way they always been inadequate. You know, they know that they never was fly, or they know that they never was tough, or they know that they always was a simp, or, you know, it be one of them things. They know that they was always inadequate in some type of way. And they portray themselves like these trolls that come on here. You know what I mean? These trolls in the comment section probably right now. Cleveland Roberts, you know exactly who I'm talking about, man. You know that nigga's a mark, man. Come on, man. But like I say, man, like, people don't be like these guys, man. You know, these trolls, they get in the comment section. That's why it don't really faze me what they say. You know, I really do that for y'all. You know, to keep y'all focused on the conversation and don't let these motherfuckers distract you. You know, because I know everybody can't stay focused, and you know, you just hate seeing sucker shit in the comment section. I know it. That's why I got, you know, my snipers for y'all. You know what I mean? But that shit don't really bother me, what they say in the comment section or what they say over the internet. It don't fuck with me, because I know the truth. I know in reality that they's a buster, they a mark, you know what I mean, and they don't like theyself. You can't like yourself. If you hide behind a fake profile, you got a profile with a fake name and no profile picture, you know, you hide behind this profile to say what you want to say. If you can't say what you want to say and show your face, you can't like yourself. Nobody like that. Like, they can't like themselves. You know what I mean? If you know, because these people know, when you a coward, you know when you a coward. And when you the type of person that say all kind of reckless shit over the internet, and you know to yourself that you never say that shit to a person face to face, these people don't like themselves. And see, that's what puts me at ease, because I know in order for this person to be this type of person, they can't like themselves. So it's a miserable individual, and I'm not miserable, and I like myself, and me not being miserable and liking myself pisses them off more. When they can't piss me off, when they can't get me to join them in their misery, it pisses them off even more. So I'm a fuel their misery by being happy. I'm a fuel their misery by being confident. I'm a fuel their misery by being a fly ass pimp. I'm a fuel their misery by being the same motherfucker on the internet that I am face to face. I'm a fuel their misery by not being a motherfucker that's hiding. You can run in the freeze anywhere. Some of y'all in this comment section, or people who tune in, some of y'all might have ran into me before. Like, I'm not hard to run into. I don't hide nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm really outside. And I don't hide. When I'm in the city, I'll be out and about in that city. You know what I mean? I'm not hard to run into at all. So, you know, but these people that talk tough on the internet and they not the same face to face, 9 times out of 10, they people that don't come outside. And if you do run into them outside, these niggas are sweethearts, man. Orange could say freeze. You ever hit Aurora, North Seattle? Yeah, I was out there for a split second last year, most recently. But I wasn't out there that long. I only passed through there for like a couple of days. But I've been hearing some good things about it lately, though. I heard it's cool. See, I be doing my best not to acknowledge certain individuals, right? Now, I ain't gonna say his name, Miser, for real. You say, so why you ain't stepped to blank when he was looking for you all over LA? Let me tell you something. That motherfucker right there, don't nobody in the game know that individual. Nobody has ever met that dude. And I seen this little video where he was talking shit, and he said in the video, he was like, Freeze from LA just like I'm from LA. You know, I ain't never seen him nowhere. If he be down, we'd have ran into each other. Anybody from LA know that I be down. He's not down. You know what I mean? See, I've been blessed. See, that's another thing about a lot of pimps. Not every pimp, but a lot of pimps, right? I've been blessed with the gift of discernment. You know what I mean? And I know a good working man when I see one. And I just get the feeling that that individual right there, you know what I mean? He's a nice, good working man. He work a nice job somewhere, you know what I mean? And in his spare time, he act like a pimp. You know, that's just the feeling that I get. See, I ain't gonna be like him. I ain't gonna lie on him like he lie on me. You know what I mean? But, so I haven't confirmed that. I haven't confirmed that he's a nice working man, but I just got the gift of discernment. And the spirit of discernment tells me that he is a nice working man. Because if you've been in the game as long as he claims to have been in the game, because I think he probably close in age to me, you know, late 30s or whatever, right? And I don't know nobody who has seen this guy outside, down and around. Not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, not now. Nobody has ever seen this guy. You know what I mean? Definitely not, definitely not cross country. You know what I mean? And even in LA, even the pimps around LA, you know what I mean, don't know this guy. The area in LA where he's from, the pimps that's from that same area do not know this guy. Nobody knows him. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand, a lot of motherfuckers, they see me as a source of clout. They see me as a way to get type of relevance, right? And yeah, that motherfucker, he went to the different blades and shit like that. I seen him, you know, on Fig or whatever. And I seen him on Long Beach Boulevard and Western and all this shit, right? He's saying he went to all these different blades. But if you pay attention, because see, when I got to the blade, because I was on the blade that same night. I was on Fig that same night, right? But I got to Fig, I think like 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that, right? He was already in the house by then. Now keep in mind, he drove from Lancaster to LA and back. That's a good 45 minutes to an hour to get there and back, right? He already was in the house probably by 11, 12 o'clock. So when he went down to LA, called himself looking for me and shit, you know what I mean? By the time I made it down there, he already was gone. So, you know, will let you know, that's why I say I think he a hard-working man, because I think he made it back in the house so early because he got in the morning to go to work. You know what I mean? Because pimps and hoes, we come out, we stay out all night. Like me, when I went out that night, I stayed out all night. The next day I flew to my, yeah, what's that? Nah, that wasn't the next day when I flew. No, wait a minute. No, I don't think I flew to Miami the next day after that. But, no, I didn't. Matter of fact, no, I didn't. I didn't. But I was down that whole night, right? If you really looking for me and you want to see me, you gonna stay outside like pimps do. But when you got a job and you got to get up early in the morning, you got to make it back to the house in time to get some rest. And that's what he did. See, he not gonna tell you really looking for me. You not gonna hurry up and go to the house and make a bunch of t-shirts and Corona masks. This nigga made a whole clothing line on me. If you really got beef with a motherfucker, why are you doing that? This lets you know he's irrelevant. Because to me, he's just another person. It's a whole bunch of motherfuckers on the internet who ain't gonna never come outside. I ain't gonna never run into them. And they talk crazy to me and about me. If I was to meet up with everybody that on the internet that got a problem with me, I would spend all day, every day meeting up with motherfuckers. That's how many people on the internet hate Freeze, right? He's just another one of them people. But he's an irrelevant motherfucker just like the rest of them people. And like I said, he don't be up at, he at the house sleep right now. What time is it? It's 12:30 in LA right now. Man, that man at the house sleep. Because he got to get up and go to work in the morning. I'm telling you. Any of y'all who know that nigga calling right now, that nigga at the house sleep. He got to get up and go to work in the morning, man. You dig? Man, got to get up and go to work work in the morning. And, you know, he tried to act tough and act like he wanted to run the fade and this, that, and third. And, you know, that dude is a comedian, man. He's just a clown to me. He do clown shit. I've been seeing him on the internet for a long time, for years. And as long as I've seen him on the internet, he's always done clown shit. You know what I mean? He do shit like one time he got into it with some pimping on the internet and he making videos showing guns and shit and talking crazy, but he don't come outside. Nobody has ever seen this guy down. You know what I mean? But he making videos, you know, because he didn't have enough pimping to go back and forth with the pimping. You know what I mean? He making videos showing guns and shit to the pimping. It's a weirdo. You know what I mean? Who do that with pimping? Over the internet. Like, think about that. What pimp gets so mad at another pimp over the internet that you showing guns? Y'all ain't never even met before. Y'all ain't had no real altercation in real life. Y'all got into it and had an argument over the internet. And you got so mad that you showing guns in videos on the internet talking about what you gonna do to a motherfucker? What pimp do that? It's a weirdo. What pimp got beef and looking for Freeze in the street, go to the house and make a whole clothing line on Freeze? This nigga made hats that said Freeze and sinful suckers of the game. This nigga made a fucking Corona mask that said the anti-freeze campaign. Like, this nigga made a whole clothing line. If you got beef with a nigga, why are you making a whole clothing line on the motherfucker? Then, I ain't even get into that. This is a motherfucker who historically is well known for posting fake money. You done got caught posting fake money and fake jewelry over and over again. Motherfuckers done busted you out. You done been live making videos and motherfuckers be like, hey man, what's up with that fake ass money you count? Hey man, what's up with that fake ass jewelry you wear? Pimps don't count fake money. Pimps don't wear fake jewelry. He done been called out for this so many times. Why am I gonna meet up and fight with a motherfucker that wear fake jewelry and count fake money? And go to bed at a certain time? What pimp you know got a bedtime? I ain't never met no pimp with a bedtime. That nigga at the house sleep right now because he got to get up, go to work in the morning. And not working at a hoe. I don't know if he doing labor ready. I don't know if he doing telemarketing. I don't know if he a nurse at a hospital or something. You know what I mean? I don't know what he doing. But he not pimping. You not the pimp. Your pimp card is revoked. Pimps do not count fake money. Pimps do not wear fake jewelry. We don't do that. We don't do that. I can't take you seriously if you count fake money and you wear fake jewelry. Can't take you serious. I cannot take you serious. I'm not finna meet with nobody like that. No. And motherfucker made a whole fake ass situation. Like, everything about this nigga fake. His jewelry fake, his money fake, his pimping fake. Like, everything about this nigga fake. His reputation is fake. Everything about this nigga is fake. What the fuck I'm gonna meet up with a fake nigga for? And get into a fight with a fake nigga over some shit that was said on the internet? Come on, man. And then this nigga spent his hard-earned money on gas, driving to LA, an hour from Lancaster to LA, then driving all over LA, and then driving back to Lancaster. Nigga, you work hard for that money. You can't just be blowing gas money like that. You know what I mean? Cleveland Roberts, you said he told you Johnny Cash gave him the game about pimping. That nigga ain't never even met Johnny Cash. I guarantee you, Johnny Cash has never met that nigga. In the flesh, never. Nobody has met this nigga. I only know one motherfucker that met that nigga, and that was in the penitentiary. I only know one pimp who has actually met that nigga, and that was in the penitentiary. But I guarantee you that nigga work a job somewhere. Jamila Griffin, I'm guessing you asked me a question. Let me go back. Okay, I see you asked the question, Jamila. I'm going back. Let me see your question. Oh, you said what we talking about? Nope, nothing, nobody important, Jamila. I was just, addressing, people. Several people in the comment section mentioned this Buster that trying to get some clout, trying to create a situation with me. So if that's the question that you was talking about, yeah, that's nobody important. Anna Music says, what was the experience like the first time you met Gorgeous Dre? It was a good experience. See, now of course y'all know Gorgeous Dre, Andre Taylor, he's not in the game anymore, but nonetheless, Andre Taylor, he's somebody to be outside, and we had talked on the phone before, but the first time I actually met him, me and Sinful just happened to be in the mall, and we ran into him in the mall in LA. We just so happened to run into each other in the mall. That was the first time that we met each other. We had chopped it up on the phone, several times. But the first time we actually met each other, we just so happened to run into each other in the mall, and from there, a brotherhood was formed, man, and it was a very cool experience. That's somebody who I value dearly, I admire dearly, and like I said, from the moment we met, a brotherhood was formed, man, and I appreciate that, man, and love that man. Got a lot of love for him, for real. That's my brother. So it was a beautiful experience. But damn, Jamila, ask me the question again. I didn't see your question, girl. Dang. Shit. You really on a pimp helmet right now. That's funny. Ask me the question again, because I scrolled up and I didn't get to see it. So excuse my pimping. Reno Red, blessings to you as well. I appreciate you. Right. Cleveland Roberts, like you said, he also making them fake pimp cups. The nigga want to be Debbie the Glass Lady so bad. You know what I mean? Nigga a weirdo, man. I'm not finna meet up with nobody like that. But the cold part about it, if he'd have been on the blade by the time I made it there and he had a problem, then it could have been whatever he wanted it to be, because like I told him, see, he was speaking ill on my name, right? Like a lot of motherfuckers on the internet are right now. And matter of fact, that nigga irrelevant, man. I'm done talking about that boy. He ain't even worth a pimp's breath. My breath is too valuable to waste on that motherfucker. You know, once you spend time, you can't get it back. And I'm done. I can't spend no more time talking about that weak motherfucker. Rasta Riley says, would you ever do a video on the topic of Sugar Free's new album and his producer being a snitch? Just the implications of association, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I probably wouldn't do a video about that because I don't know the details of that situation. And even if I did, you know, that's, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. Where Jamila at with her question? Snoopy Blue 20 says, I was speaking on since way back as early as elementary school as far as having that effect on girls' mind, on girls' minds, and fearing your potential to have complete control over her mind. Are you talking about still now, even now, fearing your potential to have control over a girl's mind? Is that what you're saying? .365 Property Maintenance says, what you think about Salt Walker from Houston, Texas? He's a good rapper. I like his music. Yeah. Reading these comments, y'all. Excuse my pimping. Yeah, if Snoopy Blue 20, if you fear your potential when it comes to controlling a woman's mind, I don't know, this might not be for you. You know, with this game, man, you know, that's another thing about this pimping. You got to have a cast iron stomach for this shit. And it's not really for everybody. And see, it's not such a bad thing to not be a pimp. You know, a lot of people be wrestling with that. Like, damn, is this game for me or not? Damn. Like, it's not a bad thing if the game ain't for you. You know, that don't make you any less of a man or anything like that if the game ain't for you. It just might not be for you. It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself that the game is for you because of certain qualities that you got about yourself, but you know deep down inside that it ain't for you. That's what it sounds like. And if that's the case, then it's all good, you know? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Antonio Burrell, once again, as always, good looking with the $50 holler. I appreciate you moving on about that. Where you headed, Bill? I am I'm leaving Texas and I'm headed to Arizona right now. But I'm probably not gonna be in Arizona long. I just gotta stop there and handle some business. And I'm gonna probably end up pushing somewhere else where I haven't exactly decided yet. I got a few things in mind, but I ain't decided just yet where I'm gonna go. But that's where I'm headed right now. I don't know where I'm gonna go from there. And the music say, how can I get you some music to listen to of mine? Do you got some music out right now? Shoot your shot. If you got a project out or something like that, or somewhere people can find your music on the internet, shoot it and I'll check it out. And some other people in here might want to check it out too. Mac Vegas 702 say, you driving from Texas to AZ? That's a far, I guess you meant to say that's a far ride or far trip or whatever. But I'm a cross country pimp, man, and I do this highway shit all the time, man. If I wasn't in the game, I probably could have been a trucker, you know what I mean? Like, driving ain't shit to me. And plus, I like to drive because oh shit, I'm tripping. Speaking of driving, I need to stop and get some gas. Shit. But nah, I like driving though. It's all right to me. I drove cross country so many times. It's nothing. Jamila, if you asked your question again, I didn't see it for some reason. I'm seeing all these other comments, but I told you to ask the question again, and if you did, I surely have not seen it. So I don't know. What that Texas like? Texas cool right now. The malls and all of that type of stuff is back open now, so. Yeah, Texas is cool right now. Rasta Riley says, what do you think about how popular swiping has gotten? I say easy come, easy go. I had to find that out the hard way in life, right? But when it comes to anything that you want to be successful at in life, or any endeavor that you embark on, at the end of the day, if it's easily acquired, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be easily lost. Anything that lasts, anything that's sustainable comes with a price, and that price is putting in work. So like when you say swiping and all of that, it's not really, it's some work involved depending on how somebody is going about it, but it's not a lot of work involved in it too. It relies solely upon violating people. That's something else that I've learned, the hard way. But when you acquire things easily and you have to violate people in order to acquire those things, 9 times out of 10 that shit don't be worth it. It don't last. So okay. Ooh-wee. Y'all really going on a cross-country journey with a pimp right now. That's what's up, though. I fucks with y'all like that. Yeah, Rasta Riley, a lot of times when you young, you don't really understand the value of putting in work a lot of times, right? Especially depending on where you come from and what your background is. But it's a lot of things that we don't really understand the value of and appreciate when we're young. So we do things like that, right? But unfortunately, a lot of us find out the hard way that anything that's worth having comes with a price, and a lot of times that price, a part of that price that you pay for that is putting in work, man. Because I told y'all my story of my life before the game, right? Just say this real quick. My life before the game, I wasn't necessarily swiping per se, but I was doing some scam type shit. And when you scamming, it kind of really fuck with your nerves. Like, you be nervous a lot of time. It's just, it's a lot to come with that shit, man. Like, to me, that shit ain't, the potential gain from it is not worth, all that comes with it. Excuse me for just a second. Y'all stay right there real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on. Like 5 seconds. Okay, I'm right back at you. Shawnee Sean, is that how you say your name? You say I look sleepy, but nah, I'm good. I got my love right here. You know what I mean? I got me my little banana chip snack. You know what I mean? I ain't cracked these open yet, but I love banana chips. You know what I mean? I fuck with these heavy. And I got my little non-carbonated Monster. You know what I mean? This is really the only thing I drink besides water, besides love. You know what I mean? It's the only thing I put in my body besides love. But see, these ain't like the regular Monsters. They non-carbonated because I don't drink anything carbonated. I don't drink soda. I don't drink I've never had a Red Bull ever in my life. Damn, I kind of do look tired, but a pimp up though. But yeah, I'm good. I'm ready for my little road trip. You dig? Get some gas, man. Awesome. Keep your system on point. Indeed, I got to do that. I ain't nothing without my system on point. Yes, sir. Easy come, easy go. Isn't longevity. And God don't bless mess. That's against the game to violate, like you said. And I hear you. Being naughty about corporate ain't always worthwhile. Indeed. That comes with it. Sure. How you doing?
Yeah, sometimes.
Let me get 30 on 7.
30 on 7, yes, sir. Okay, your turn.
You. Rasta said, I thought you did initial time for dealing, not scheming. Uh, well, I was. Shit falling on my head. I was dealing, but I wasn't dealing drugs. I was dealing cell phones. But my cell phone dealing entailed scheming. That's how I got the cell phones that I had that I was dealing. Me and my partners, that's how we got the phones we had. We was, scheming to get them. So, yeah, man, got to keep the love on deck. Jay, great, you still on the brute, man? Yeah, man, fly motherfuckers, man, we don't wear a brute. I ain't never put no brute on my body, man. Nah, I ain't gonna say never. Maybe when I was probably like 8 or 9 years old or something, like way back in the days when I was a little bitty kid, I might have wore some brute back then, but definitely not as no grown, not even as a teenager. Not no grown man. See, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and shit, that's when that Cool Water was out. Polo Sport, Aqua de Joe. That was cool when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. Big Shepherd said, I was in 6th grade last time I had brew. Man, it might have been earlier than that for me. Like I said, I might have been like 8 or 9 years old or something, man. That's the last time I can remember fucking with some damn brew. But the nigga I was talking about earlier, he a grown man and he one of them type of dudes that fuck with brew. You know what I mean? Shawnee Sean, what is your age? See, God blessed me, right? God blessed me in such a way that he made sure that I turned 21 every year, so I'm 21. I turned 21 last year, I'll be 21 again this year. God is good, ain't he? Shit. Okay. All right. That's funny. Turn this shit off. It's kind of cold around here. Yeah. Back on the road again, y'all. We back on the road. The journey continues. motherfucker. Supposed to yield to oncoming traffic. Boy, these 18-wheelers be, you see the motherfucker flashing me back there? 18-wheelers be pissing me off. They know damn well they supposed to yield to oncoming traffic. Motherfucker. Rude motherfucker. Rasta Rowley said, you know any drinking water treatment operators, Freeze? Nah. I'm not, I mean, I know about that, but I'm not really, like, real familiar with that. Nah, that's out of my zone when it comes to the love, you dig? But yeah, man. Let's see. I've been live with y'all 2.5 hours. That's how you know time flies when you chopping it and popping it about this game, man. But I'm gonna stay live with y'all probably for a few more minutes and answer a few more questions, respond to a few more comments, and we're gonna do it like that. Once again, I appreciate y'all for hitting that thumbs up, wiping your feet off at the door when you came into a Pimp's Domain. If you haven't done so, please do so now. Thank you. Orange could say, what kind of bottled water would you recommend? I really done got into spring water lately. Sometimes I do the alkaline water. You know, that's what that is. But I really been drinking a lot of spring water lately. I really think spring water is the best for you. So I say any kind of spring water is good. Like real natural spring water. That's what's up. Terry Wood say, is AZ better than Texas? I think it depends on the individual. Now, Texas, I believe, is easier to get money than AZ, right? AZ, you gotta know your way around AZ to get some money around there. You know, most people don't get a little bit of money in AZ, but in order to get a lot of money in AZ, you gotta have some game and you gotta know your way around that motherfucker. Texas, to be honest with you, it don't take a whole lot of game to get money out here. It's all kind of gameless motherfuckers in Texas get money. That's just being all the way real. Of course, if you got some game and you know your way around this motherfucker, you're gonna get more money than the average. But it's a lot of gameless motherfuckers get money out here too, though. So. Oh, for sure, Rasta. You know, it's always good when we chop it and pop this game. Zaire Phoenix say, nah, Texas people some hoes to me, except San Antonio. It's funny because I always hear bad shit about San Antonio. about the people there. I don't know. Most of the pimping I know, they don't like San Antonio. But I wouldn't really know. I done passed through San Antonio and spent a little bit of time there, but I ain't never really dug into San Antonio like that to really know what's what around there. Y'all crazy. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this live up, man. You know, as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and hanging out with a pimp. I appreciate y'all for hitting that thumbs up, wiping your feet off at the door when you came into a pimp's domain. I appreciate y'all for subscribing. I appreciate you for hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate y'all put some love in your body if you did. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the shares, all the comments, questions, feedback, so on and so forth. I appreciate your support in every which way that you come with it, you dig? Y'all already know we're going to do this again much sooner than later. I'm going to keep on getting on this road, and I'll tap it with y'all sooner than later. Y'all be easy. If you out traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. I'll holler.